in central Montgomery County. Go ahead and be in your tornado safe place, and I'd say you've got to be there for at least the next 20 to 30 minutes, and then hopefully this will be over. Storms are becoming more numerous, and we hope that that's eventually going to limit the threat, but at least for the moment, we've got a threat once again out in Montgomery County. Now, Mount Ida sitting out here to the southeast. If this thing takes more of a right turn, I do think it would get close, and you don't want to take that chance, so go ahead and take your tornado precautions as well. A couple of the locations that are off towards the southwest of Pencil Bluff, one that may be well known is Odin. Odin is there right along Highway 88. It sits right there just to the southwest of Pencil Bluff. So if you're in Odin, make sure that you are in your tornado safe place as well. This is coming up on you from the southwest, and it's going to be getting towards Odin and then Pencil Bluff here within just the next few minutes. A strong rotation continues, and I think that's National Forestry Division Road 5518. If you're along that road, make sure you're in your tornado safe spot. Of course, I believe this is part of the Ouachita National Forest, so lots of trees. And as a beautiful drive down 270, difficult place to see a tornado. Of course, it's getting dark as well, so probably difficult if you wanted to step outside and take a look. Probably difficult to see anything. Is probably best to just go straight to your tornado safe place. I want to take a little bit of a wider view of the storm. It is as classic a supercell storm as it gets, and it is headed right towards Mount Ida. And it is slowly but surely moving off towards the east-northeast. I will slow that down for you, and we can get a better view on exactly where it is headed. The tornado would be right there at the bottom of the hook echo, and it is, at least the area of rotation that we have, is moving off towards the northeast. Of course, we have Emma working KATV.com/chime in. We've seen earlier a low-hanging wall cloud over Lake Ouachita, and we'll show you that here in just a moment as she gets that pulled up on our feed over there. And of course, we have meteorologist Matt Posguy. He's with me as well tonight, and we've been tracking storms move across the state. So far, we've seen a lot of large hail. A couple of times, storms have tried to rotate, Matt, and we're watching this one now. Hopefully, not a problem for too long, but the tornado warning's in effect. A tornado could be possible at any minute.
Yeah, the circulation is pretty large, but there's also a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, too. That includes the city of Leola here, farther to the south, as well as Willow, and then including Prattsville, too, toward the latter half or toward the end of the warning area. But that storm right now, I don't see any signs of circulation other than what might be happening above. So it's putting out some hail, and that's been the main impact from that storm so far. The National Weather Service puts out a advisory here saying that storm is capable of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. The storm that was producing the tornado warning is still southwest of Pencil Bluff. That hail core is actually looking pretty intense. I'd say that's probably close to maybe ping pong ball size hailstones, and then closer to Hot Springs. That storm has been approaching you, putting out close to golf ball size hail with some of the darker colorings you can see there. So these are the storms that we were watching. So we're back to 3 severe thunderstorms, one of which is tornado warned. You know, the storm near Hot Springs actually still has a pretty decent core to it, and that one does bear watching when it comes to circulation. Now, it's hard to tell from some of the radar beams. Let's see if I can switch to a different one. Yeah, that one may be trying to redevelop a brand new couplet. And a couplet is when you have wind that's moving in opposite directions right next to each other. That's how the radar is able to tell if there's a tornado. So it wouldn't surprise me if they reissued one for that particular storm that we had one for earlier. That has been that did have a history of putting out a tornado warning in the past based on radar data, although no visual confirmation there. So we had the National Weather Service also mentioning that the Garland County storm has strengthened rapidly. Very large hail is possible, and I think that's looking pretty obvious there.
So the rotation approaching Pencil Bluff appears to be a little bit stronger. A couple of locations I want to call out here that are in the vicinity of Odin. I think we've got the Shirley Creek Recreation Site is about right here. If you're anywhere close to the Shirley Creek Recreation Site, make sure that you're in a safe place. I think Riverview Canoes is just to the south of Odin, and of course, Arkansas Highway 88 is up here towards Pencil Bluff. You make the left turn to go to Odin. This is the area of strong rotation that we're watching, and I think this is probably the strongest rotation we have tracked tonight. And so get to your tornado safe place. I hope you're already there. If you're in Odin, hopefully this is staying up above the ground level. Remember, radar doesn't see what happens at the ground. We're slightly above the ground. And so hopefully we're able to, well, there's another circulation, and it is even stronger. So hopefully you're in your tornado safe spot. Hopefully this ends as quickly as it has approached you. Down the road, of course, up towards Pencil Bluff, make sure you're in your tornado safe place as well. We'll look at debris detector to see if we're getting any type of debris thrown into the air. It does not look like that we are. So again, best case scenario is that hopefully this is staying above the ground, but that's a very strong area of rotation moving through the central, the northwest part rather of Montgomery County. And as we've tracked it here over the last few minutes, you see it has started to jog slightly towards the north, and it has gotten a little bit stronger. So we very well could have a tornado on the ground right along or just to the south of Arkansas Highway 88, and this is approaching US 270, and Odin sits right there off towards the west of Pencil Bluff. So all those locations I just talked about, make sure that you are in a tornado safe place right now. Now, we hope that this won't hold together, but if it does, it could eventually approach the community of Washita. And this is, I think, the most serious situation that we have right now. It's in Montgomery County. And again, a couple of the locations I was talking about, the Shirley Creek Recreation Site, and right there towards Odin, and then up towards Pencil Bluff, there's quite a few places over there. And I'd say if you're looking for a landmark, I believe there's a Dollar General that sits right there very close to the intersection of US 270 and Arkansas 88. If you're anywhere close to that Dollar General, get into a safe place right now. You don't want to mess around with this thing. It's getting dark. It's probably going to be difficult to see. And remember, radar, we're getting a still image. The storms don't normally sit still. This thing is moving towards the east-northeast, so it's getting very close to you right now, in between Hughes Road and then Clear Creek Road, kind of right here in this swath right here. And it looks like it is moving pretty slowly, but right now it's over Odin. And certainly if there's something on the ground, we're probably going to have reports of power outages here soon, and or reports of damage coming from those of you in Montgomery County. Of course, we hope that is not going to be the case. We don't want to hear any reports of damage. Looking at debris detector, which helps us determine if there's any debris being thrown into the air. I do not see anything. We do have other storms that we're watching off towards the east. Still the storm in Perry County, the storm in Garland County, and now the storm in northern Dallas County, and another storm just towards the south of Hot Springs. All these storms have the potential to produce large hail, at least right now. Hopefully they're not going to produce tornadoes, but we are going to have to carefully watch these storms, at least until storms become so numerous that the tornado threat really is limited. Matt, is there anything new from the National Weather Service? I think that's a very impressive circulation that we've been tracking there, moving through just now to the west of US 270 in Montgomery County.
No, when it comes to tornadoes, that's the only one they've mentioned as being an actually tornado-warned or tornado-capable storm. The other ones have been reissued when it comes to severe thunderstorm warnings, and then there is one that's farther to the south and east, due east of Arkadelphia, that's pushing to the northeast, closer to Leola. But those haven't actually showed much in the way of rotation. Now, there is a storm that looks like it could be trying to reform a good area of rotation closer to Hot Springs Village. It's something that we'll have to watch, but right now I haven't seen any velocity scans that show anything that would be imminent when it comes to a tornado threat with that particular storm. I would say right now this is going to be mostly a hail threat. There's definitely circulation, but it looks like it's mostly above the ground when it comes to being a strong one. Near the ground, it looks fairly weak and broad in terms of circulation. So the main one that we have here that does show surface circulation with a almost, I mean, when it comes to seeing something on radar, that's pretty hard to dispute right near Pencil Bluff. I mean, those of you in Pencil Bluff, you've got to assume that is a tornado. And if you're residing in a mobile home, that is not a safe place to be. You'll want to get into a more sturdy structure if you can.
Yeah, so we have, I believe, the Turtle Island RV Park sits very close to Pencil Bluff, very close to where the Dollar General is right there. And so RV is not a good place to be. They can easily blow, even from a weak tornado. So hopefully you're able to get out of any type of mobile home or RV and go to a sturdy structure. This is still the area of rotation that we're watching. Now we highlight a large area, but the tornado may only be a few hundred yards wide, so it covers a very small area. Remember, we're looking a few thousand feet up. Down at the ground, the tornado is smaller, and hopefully it's not reaching the ground, but we're going to pretend that it is reaching the ground. Go ahead and take your tornado safe place. We've been following this now for really the last 10 minutes. It's presented an impressive radar signature, and it is really not moving very fast. It's just ever so slowly getting closer and closer to US 270 and the intersection of Arkansas Highway 88. Odin, this is just now getting past you. It's in between Odin and Pencil Bluff, coming very close now to Pencil Bluff. And if you're just now joining us, if you happen to join us from watching something else here on KATV, we are tracking a tornado warning in the central part of Montgomery County. This is off towards the northwest of Mount Ida. So Mount Ida has of course, it's got a reporting station. I can tell you what the temperature is in Mount Ida. It's 80 degrees in Mount Ida, just down the road, 80 degrees. The surface winds, though, are calm, and that's a good sign because if you had a strong surface wind streaming into this storm, I think the tornado potential might be even higher. But it's 80 degrees, very warm, very humid. This storm likely producing large hail and the potential for an isolated tornado. Emma, is there anything that has come through chime in that warrants, or perhaps with power outages? All right, let's go to Storyteller. That is Montgomery County. Emma, any power outages in Montgomery County?
So far, 86.
Okay, so 86 customers. Did you know if that is a new number?
Yeah, it just came through.
So 86 people in Montgomery County without power. Now, we don't know whether that's due to a tornado. We don't know whether it's due to lightning, damaging winds, but that is noteworthy that we have power outages in Montgomery County. Emma, would you pull up the picture of the earlier wall cloud that went across Lake Ouachita? Because I think we have a video from Gabe Galster. I think it's very difficult to see, but there's at the very least, a low-hanging wall cloud and possibly maybe a tornado. We'll have to see if the Weather Service finds anything. Let's go back to Pencil Bluff as we still have this very strong area of rotation that is approaching right over Arkansas 88 and Ridge Road. Now, we've talked about the Turtle Island RV Park. There is the Dollar General right there, and this is the area of strong rotation that we're watching. So it's right over you. Hopefully, this is all above the ground level, and all you're getting is some rain. But those of you that are in this area, this is some very strong inflow winds being met with strong enough outflow winds that I think a tornado could be very possible in this area. Matt?
Hey, James. Yeah, we just I just got a notice here from the National Weather Service. They're drawing up a new severe warning for the Garland County storm, and they're saying that right now, while it looks impressive, they're not seeing a circulation with it or any kind of rotation in the velocity data. Now, they're probably talking about surface rotation because above the ground, there is some decent circulation there. But if it's above the ground, that's where we would want it to be, not at the ground. Obviously, above the ground can still lead to some very large hail, and that's going to be part of that supercell structure. So the only tornado warned storm and the only potential tornado warned storm, according to the National Weather Service, as of this point, is the one that is closer to Pencil Bluff. So it's kind of a give and take there. But the one near Pencil Bluff, I mean, that still looks very intense in circulation. Now, check out some of these hail cores. Now, we have a hail core that's approaching Pencil Bluff. I would say that's probably closer to quarter size, maybe ping pong ball size hail. And then there's one closer to Hot Springs Village, which I would say is golf ball size hail pretty easily based on some of the colors there. I do believe, actually, based on this, isn't that closer? That's closer to 2-inch size hail, is it not?
Yeah, and I do want to talk about this because we have so many of you that reside in Hot Springs Village. Let's talk about hail for a second. Those of you in the vicinity of Pencil Bluff could be seeing up to ping pong ball sized hail, but what Matt just pointed out is an even larger hail core, and this is an area of the state that was devastated by hail last June. So I pulled up the map of Hot Springs Village here, and this is likely moving into Hot Springs Village, and this is going to encompass, I think, a large area of Hot Springs Village. Now, it says the max hail size is tennis ball size. I think not every hailstone is going to be that big. I think you're seeing a lot of quarter-size hail, probably some golf ball-size hail up to tennis ball-size hail, and maybe even with a storm like this, maximum hail size could end up being up towards baseballs. So right over Blue Springs, that's where this hail core has been. Usually this hail detector is delayed by just a few minutes. So this is coming into Hot Springs Village, and that is... you hate to see damaging hail in an area. I mean, Garland County last June, if you remember, we had hailstorm after hailstorm after hailstorm, and Garland County got several rounds of hail last June on several different occasions. So that is a very, very important tidbit there, is the hail moving into Hot Springs Village. It's staying north of Hot Springs. And it looks like we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning on that hail core. So those of you that reside in Pulaski County or even into Faulkner County, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 9 o'clock, and this is going to come, if this holds together and it's not interrupted by a storm towards the south, this is going to end up getting into West Little Rock and maybe part of southern Faulkner County. And it looks like right now, hail is the main threat with that storm. We hope the tornado threat holds off with that. So that is... that's a good catch, Matt, catching the hail signature there. We're still looking at a very strong area of rotation near Pencil Bluff. Hopefully, if you are in central or northwest Montgomery County, you're still in your tornado safe spot. I still don't see anything on a debris detector that leads me to believe debris has been thrown very high into the air, but still right from, and it looks like now we're off towards the northeast of Pencil Bluff, Arkansas 88, area of rotation right there. You see a pixel kind of like that, and that might be where you have the actual tornado occurring. Still moving off towards the east-northeast, so if you're in Sims, Lone Valley Church Road, these two locations, make sure you're in your tornado safe place. We're going to look ahead just ever so slightly. If you're in Gibbs, and of course off Sims Loop Road, West Bend Road, I'm calling out some roads on either side of Arkansas 298. Make sure you're in your tornado safe place. Now look at what this tornado, if this is a tornado, is embedded in. You've got your inflow notch right here. It's become cut off by rain. You're getting a lot of rain and probably some hail as well. So this is a tornado. If there is a tornado, it's likely well embedded in some rain. So that's what we're watching in central Montgomery County. The area circulation is still there. Matt Posguy, our newest meteorologist to this team, is watching what the National Weather Service has to say and getting updates from them. Of course, we're tracking more than just one storm, but we're tracking only one tornado-warned storm. The storm that's approaching the metro area, of course, will bear watching. You got a supercell storm producing very large hail over and just north of Hot Springs Village. This storm is probably going to have to merge with the storm north of Hot Springs and over Fountain Lake before it will produce possible tornado if it indeed tried to. So severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way into western Pulaski County. And we'll continue to go back to look at, it looks like Emma has a picture. And Emma, you can pull that and make it bigger. That's from Jason Ray, and we're going to get you a location on this. But that is looks like the hail that may have just started falling. I'm going to guess somewhere in the vicinity of Hot Springs Village. I'm looking up the location data right now. And Emma, did you have another picture of a storm right there? Wheeling Springs. This picture is from Wheeling Springs. Wow, look at the structure on this storm. That is a storm that came through Clark County a little bit earlier. So that's the storm that's now moving. All right, so we've got a new tornado warning, and that's the storm coming up upon Hot Springs Village. So if you are in Hot Springs Village, and I'm going to get a look at our tower cam to see if we can see this. I don't think we're going to be able to. If you're in Hot Springs Village, go ahead and get into your tornado safe place as fast as you can. Our camera, let's see here. Our camera is going to be pointed towards the north, and I don't really see anything. We'll take that camera here in a minute, but it's difficult to see the tornado warning box, but it includes Hot Springs Village, all of Hot Springs Village now included in the tornado warning, and this circulation with embedded area of large hail will soon cross into Saline County. So we've now got two storms that are tornado warned, and both of them throwing out some formidable large hail signatures. One is near Pencil Bluff in Montgomery County. The other is approaching Hot Springs Village, and we're going to go in real tight and look at Hot Springs Village. And I'm not even going to put on the velocity because this is a classic supercell. And there's the hook echo right there, and we can see exactly where a possible tornado will be. Village Tower Road. If you're anywhere in that vicinity, I think that's where the circulation is right now. There's DeSoto Boulevard, kind of one of the main thoroughfares of Hot Springs Village. If you are anywhere in Hot Springs Village, you need to get to a tornado-safe place right now. But if you're along DeSoto Boulevard, I think this is kind of the direction that it is heading. I believe that East Gate is over here on the other side of the village, and it doesn't matter. If you're anywhere in the village, you need to be in a safe place as fast as possible. So this tornado warning was just issued a few minutes ago. We're seeing some very large hail likely falling in the village as well, and we've got a very strong circulation now that's over Hot Springs Village, and I think we may be getting a debris drop out there right where that area of velocity is. So go ahead and assume that a tornado's on the ground moving into Hot Springs Village. I think that is possibly a debris dropout. It'll be confirmed here in just a minute. Matt, I want you to watch what the National Weather Service is saying. I'm going to show you now. I'm going to pull up a camera view. This is our Perryville camera. I'm going to go back to Hot Springs. This is from Hot Springs looking towards the north. Now we're looking into the base of the storm, and it is just, there's a lot of lightning.
I thought I saw it for a second there.
Okay.
Which direction are we looking here?
We're looking off towards the north right there. I think, is that the base of the storm right there?
I would say, can we point that to the southwest?
I think, let's see what we can see here.
Because I'm looking at velocity data, and it is right on top of Village Tower Road.
All right, we're going to go back to that. Matt, I want you to keep an eye
Yeah.
on the camera. See if you can see anything, and you can step around to the Storm Stand computer and control that and see if there's anything going on. If you're in Hot Springs Village, this is an extremely dangerous situation. You have got to be in a safe place right now. This is the most impressive circulation we have seen so far tonight, and I think this is getting real serious real fast. If you're in Hot Springs Village, I think we're getting what could amount to a debris dropout. Not 100% certain that's what that is, but it's matched up with the strong rotation near Village Tower Road, and this is going to move right through Hot Springs Village. It looks like it's going to go right through the heart of Hot Springs Village. Hopefully it lifts, but this is what the situation is right now, in addition to very large hail.
I think I found it.
Okay, so let's go.
It's hard to see, but this is the lowest cloud base I could find.
All right, we're going to go to this camera, and we're going to see what we can see. So as seen through the lightning, there is a very low cloud base right there, and I would imagine if we did have something, we would be seeing power flashes.
It looked like a funnel. Like when I saw just the right lightning bolt there, right near the horizon.
We would be seeing power flashes. I'm going to step out of the way here, and we're going to watch this for a minute. We're looking at Hot Springs Village. If you're in Hot Springs Village, get to a safe place immediately. Emma, we have so many viewers in Hot Springs Village. I'm sure we will be getting reports soon if there is indeed something down in Hot Springs Village. Gosh, that area of rotation right over Hot Springs Village is not something you want to see. Okay, so I see some lightning underneath that cloud deck. It's hard to see, Matt. I'm going to let you keep looking at it. We're going to go back to radar.
Okay.
And we're going to go back in. It looks like the tornado warning has expired from Montgomery County. So those of you in Montgomery County and Pencil Bluff, you are all clear at the moment. The most serious situation is in Garland County, approaching Hot Springs Village. We have a very strong area of rotation and a possible tornado moving into Hot Springs Village.
Keep in mind that they didn't expire it; they canceled it, which means that they're pretty sure there isn't one.
Yeah,
it's
that was about the storm that's in Montgomery County.
That's important because that rules out them reissuing one.
So, yeah, as I continue to look at the circulation here, I'm almost confident that we have a tornado on the ground entering Hot Springs Village. All right, so tornado's down, entering Hot Springs Village. That's what this is right here. This is right near Brook Hill Ranch, and this is going to be going through the heart of Hot Springs Village. So if you are listening to me anywhere in Hot Springs Village, stay calm and go to your safe spot. But we've got something that's moving through. Hopefully it's not going to stay down long, but those of you really along and south of DeSoto Boulevard.
Oh, check that out.
You have to be in
You
your
got to bring
safe
up the
place
camera
right now.
again.
All right, we're
so
going to
some of
go
the
back to
lightning,
the camera.
Some of the lightning is showing a very low cloud base there, just on the horizon.
Yeah, okay, so it's frozen. You saw that right there. I think that's the lowering that we're watching. I really think we would be seeing power flashes from this distance. So keep watching for that. It's very difficult for me to make out right here. We're going to go back to the storm. Very strong area rotation, and yeah, what this is, we've got a tornado down going into Hot Springs Village. The tornado is right near Barcelona Road, and this is moving off towards the east. An extremely, extremely dangerous situation for Hot Springs Village right now. Matt, I want you to keep watching what the Weather Service thinks. And they probably will be commenting on this momentarily. But a very dangerous situation is underway for Hot Springs Village. We've got a lot of streets on here. What we're watching right now is this right here. I think that is the tornado that you're looking at. You're looking at debris being thrown into the air, and this algorithm is picking it up, and it's perfectly matched up with the rotation moving away from the radar and towards the radar, and there's our tornado right there. And so it's right off Barcelona Road, and all these small little streets you see are houses. And you see you've got the purple polygon now, so the Weather Service is indeed confirming tornado down in Hot Springs Village. If you're anywhere in the village, we've said it over and over again, you've got to be down. Matt's looking to see if we can confirm this via camera, but that is a tornado, and we're going to continue to get updates. I hope everyone in Hot Springs Village is in a safe spot. Interior room of your home, underground is best, but if you don't have that, you've got to be away from windows, outside of mobile homes, and get out of your cars. Nobody should be driving in Hot Springs Village right now. So the Weather Service looks like confirming a tornado moving through Hot Springs Village. Damaging tornado and baseball-sized hail moving through Hot Springs Village, and shortly going to be into Garland County, or Saline County, far western Saline County. This is as impressive a tornadic circulation as we have seen tonight, and it is a confirmed tornado that is going to hopefully lift very soon. But as of right now, this is an extremely, extremely dangerous situation. We've got very strong rotation. It's about to cross Rodrigo Way, and you see all the streets here. DeSoto Boulevard is towards the north. That's one of the main thoroughfares of the village. And as you get into really the Garland-Saline County line, DeSoto Boulevard takes a jog towards the south. So this is homes, golf courses, and all these spots. You've got to be in your safe place right now. It does not get any more serious than this. Confirmed tornado now. This is approaching the Garland and Saline County line. And for all of Hot Springs Village, this is an extremely, extremely dangerous situation, and you've got to take action if you are on the east side of the village right now. Murillo Way, that's Rita Way, and then over towards the east side of the village where DeSoto Boulevard empties out onto, and I believe that's going to be Arkansas Highway 5. All those locations have got to be in a tornado safe spot immediately. Looking at the Weather Service tornado warning, they're expecting this to continue into Saline County. The Sheriff's Office is reporting roofs have been blown off a building north Highway 7, very close to Hot Springs Village. Also getting a report of baseball-sized hail from Hot Springs Village. So again, it does not get any more serious than this. This tornado is likely wrapped in rain, and I have sources that are in Hot Springs Village, and I'm looking for information to know exactly what's going on. But this,
if you could bring up that camera again.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go to the camera.
I'm looking at something else now. It looks like a very low cloud base, but
Yeah,
this
I
one's
see
a
it.
little bit more centralized.
I see that there, the center of your screen.
Right.
I would think we would be seeing some power flashes, though, maybe at this distance. So we're watching that. This is Hot Springs Village. Again, if you're in Hot Springs Village, extremely dangerous situation. You've got to make sure you're in a tornado-safe place right now.
Yeah, I think it's rain wrapped. It's going to be
it is
very hard to
definitely
see.
wrapped in rain.
Those are the worst. Yeah, it is so hard to see those kinds of rain-wrapped tornadoes, unfortunately, just because it blocks all view of it. So that's when you have to base everything on just what you're seeing on radar.
Here is the latest radar update. Palma Way, tornado on the ground. Fresno Road, in this vicinity, you know, the tornado isn't going to be this wide. It may be smaller. In this vicinity, we have a tornado down. This is going to be moving off towards the east. Velasquez Way, Tamayo Way, Rita Way, all of these spots. And remember, these are all neighborhoods. Hundreds of houses right here potentially being damaged by a tornado that is confirmed on the ground. And looking at the velocity signature, I mean, it is still just as strong as it was a few minutes ago. And so this thing is still, it looks like it's going, it's carved a path there, at least from Highway 7, where we have a report of damage, into Hot Springs Village. So extremely dangerous situation continues. This tornado is now right over Hot Springs Village, and this is going to continue into the far western section of Saline County. Those of you really all the way down to Highway 5, make sure you are in a tornado-safe place. If you're in between Highway 7 and in between Highway 5, be in your tornado-safe place. Emma, are there any pictures or videos that are coming to us? So we've got a lot of pictures of hail coming to us. Yeah, I've been getting pictures of that storm producing a lot of hail. The National Weather Service, their latest update, of course, they gave us a damage report. The tornado continues now past the Saline County line, and you still see the strong area of rotation crossing the county line. We're still in Hot Springs Village, and we're going to be following this as it moves into Saline County. So I think we've had a tornado down for at least a couple of minutes. And it's coming up now. I believe this is DeSoto Boulevard that it is getting close to on the east side of the village. You see there's a wider view of the village. We've had this, we were tracking it right from Highway 7 through Fresno Road, and then here's DeSoto Boulevard right here. So DeSoto Boulevard in the middle of the village, this is where the tornado is getting close to. I really hope that this was not on the ground long. Sometimes tornadoes get down for a minute or two, and then they go right back up. And that's what we hope has happened in this case. There is a storm approaching from the south that hopefully could disrupt the ongoing tornado that's near the Garland and Saline County lines. As we've been saying, this tornado, we can't see it from our tower cam that's off towards the southwest because it is completely wrapped in rain. So this tornado has been down, I'd say, for at least a few minutes, and I'd say there's a good chance it's still down. That's a very strong-looking circulation. I'll zoom out to give you perspective because I think I've been over some of the streets that are within Hot Springs Village. You have to be in a safe place if you're in Hot Springs Village. This thing is still continuing. We've still got a tornado down. You know, Hot Springs Village came very close to being hit by a tornado, a strong tornado, on April 25th, 2011, and this is not following a similar path. I think this is a little bit more further towards the north, but this area, this general area, has seen tornadoes. I mean, we're very familiar with tornadoes in this region. So, Danville Road, DeSoto Boulevard, if you're in those two locations or around those two locations, you've got to be in a safe spot. And then there's Sulphur Springs Road that runs north out of the village, and this comes to Arkansas Highway 9. Let's talk about northern Saline County. There are those of you out there in northern Saline County wondering, is this headed for me? I would say all the way up towards Perrin, you need to go ahead and get in your tornado-safe place because we don't know if this is going to weaken or pick up and then come back down. Tornadoes can do that with supercell storms like this. So the tornado that we're tracking is currently on the east side of Hot Springs Village, getting into the east side of Hot Springs Village. And we'll look at debris detector, and we still have a debris signature over Hot Springs Village. This is, again, a very dangerous situation. We could not get a view from our tower cam, as I think this circulation was wrapped in rain. Very, very dangerous. And those of you that are off towards the west that have been hit by a tornado, and actually, Emma, is there any new numbers coming out of Garland County as far as power outages are concerned?
The latest said 2200, a little over 2200.
Okay, so no new numbers from poweroutage.us. But we're still tracking some very strong rotation and a likely tornado that's down. Now I'm combing through all of our sources to find out, what's going on in Hot Springs Village.
Emma, do you want to take a look at some of the RDOT cams in that region? I know we have at least a few there. That one of them may be actually be able to see it.
Seeing any right here.
It's okay. Yeah, if you want to scan through them, and then let us know if you see anything. So that particular circulation, it is definitely still there, but I think James, you might be right. I think this thing might. It's possible this thing has lifted and then it's like coming back down and going up and down and up and down. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still getting, I'd say, pixel to pixel, a strong enough area of rotation that I would be very concerned still in Hot Springs Village. Now, I hope the tornado has lifted, but you're still getting very strong inflow winds being met with some outflow winds, so we still possibly have a tornado here on the east side of the village. Debris detector, it just tells us if debris has been thrown into the air, and over the course of the last 15 minutes, this thing got down near Highway 7, and I will draw this on here so we can follow this. The tornado has been tracking towards the east, and it's pretty much gone right across Hot Springs Village, and now it is very close to getting to DeSoto Boulevard if it is still on the ground. Hopefully, this thing has lifted. It's just gone through a very highly populated area. We still have strong rotation right over and right to the north of DeSoto Boulevard, and this is now about to get out of the village here within the next few minutes. But I hope that all of you that have been affected by this tonight, I hope the damage isn't that bad. And I hope it just amounts to downed trees or something like that. I hope that no homes or people were injured, any of that. We don't
James,
need
you'll
any
want
of
to
that.
check this out. Look
Yeah,
at the
what's
hail
up?
cores here, if we switch to Max 2. The hail core has dropped significantly. Now, that can be telling when it comes to the strength of the circulation of this storm. That doesn't mean that the low-level circulation has diminished. It means that the mid-level circulation, the one that's way above the ground, the source of the tornado, could be really on the downward swing. And I believe that the velocity data kind of highlights that pretty well, because we were seeing, I'll actually scan this back a little bit. You kind of see over time how you saw a lot of bright red and bright green. That was at 8:04. All right, that was south, almost due south of Hot Springs Village. Then as we go forward in time, it weakens quite a bit. Now, that could be the effects of just the fact that we've got a lot of stuff going on right now. There's a lot of very heavy rain, but with the hail core diminishing drastically, I think that's a very telling sign. There's also the possibility that a new core could be forming. That has happened with this, but that right now is pure speculation. So these things do tend to sometimes have an old core, an old circulation diminish, and then have a brand new one form farther to the south or southeast of it. And then in this case, it would be more toward the southwest, and that is a possibility. But as of right now, I see no indication of that being anything that's on the ground. So we have to assume the old circulation center here east of Hot Springs Village is the one that is still capable of producing a tornado if it's not currently on the ground.
Matt, I think it's still down. From the last couple of scans, we'll come back to Max 1. The last couple of scans with the debris detector have just strengthened that debris fallout a little bit more.
National Weather Service reported power lines down on DeSoto Boulevard, making roads impassable.
Yeah, so we've got damage in Hot Springs Village, and we've still got a tornado down. This is not a fast-moving tornado. So on March 31st last year, the tornado was moving at a mile per minute. It was flying. This tornado is not moving that fast. It's moving closer to 35 miles per hour, so it's moving at about half the speed of what we saw.
They just canceled it for Hot Springs Village, by the way.
Okay, so the west side of the village is okay, but the east side of the village still underneath this tornado warning with a confirmed tornado on the ground on the east side of DeSoto Boulevard, and this is now in the Saline, far western Saline County. I'm working to get you some information on what type of damage we have seen in Garland County. And Emma, when Power Outage US gets an update with power lines down, I think we're going to be having some new numbers.
We have already 3,500 in Garland County.
So the number just shot up by 1,200, and I would presume that a lot of those numbers are from the Hot Springs Village area. So at this point, I think we still have a tornado down, getting very close to Danville Road, and this is moving off towards the east-northeast. Mount Ida Road coming up here in northern Saline County, Antioch Road as well. A tornado that has been down for, I think, at least the last 10, maybe 15 minutes, just went through Hot Springs Village, did some damage. We've had, so far, the reports have been power lines down and a roof blown off a home or some type of building. And I hope that is the extent of the damage because the last thing you want to see is people losing their homes and significant type of damage. So this storm is actually going through a big storm merger. And so it's my hope that we begin to see the circulation weaken, and actually in just the last minute we have seen the circulation begin to weaken. And so what we may see here, it may take a minute. The area of debris that we're watching is right here. It may take a minute for that to diminish because the debris gets pulled up and it stays there, suspended in the storm, and then it'll begin to spread out. And so that's called debris fallout. So those of you up towards the east and northeast of Hot Springs Village may actually find that you have a little bit of debris raining down on you. It'll be pieces of, if the tornado is strong enough, insulation or leaves or stuff like that. So the circulation, thankfully, is a whole lot weaker. We still want to assume there's a tornado down, but I think with the change that this storm is undergoing, that this particular circulation on the east side of Hot Springs Village is weakening. There's DeSoto Boulevard right there. Highway 5 is just towards the south. Hopefully that's weakening. We'll get another update on that in a minute. But right now I'm working to get you some information and some pictures from Hot Springs Village, where an apparent tornado has gone through and done some damage tonight. And Emma, if you would give the newsroom a call and see who they are sending out there. I'm sure we've got a crew on the way at this point. So we've got Brenda on her way to Hot Springs Village. So, and I have family members there, not yet able to get in touch with them on what's going on in Hot Springs Village. But we have had a tornado go through there. So
check out the hail core signatures. The old one has completely collapsed. There's now a brand new one.
Yeah, so that's part of the storm merger that's happening. I think this storm is going to remain dangerous into Saline County and Pulaski County.
Yeah, that's right on top of Ponce de Leon Drive. That's not where you want to be right now.
Okay, I just got a report from a storm chaser that a lot of law enforcement are moving from Jesseville towards Hot Springs Village. So that is that's the latest out of there. I think we're going to have some information coming to you very soon. The tornado warning continues for northern Saline County, not yet including Highway 9, and it looks like the circulation mat has completely collapsed here in the last 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think it may be trying to form a brand new circulation based on that new hail core signature too. And you can kind of see that there based on the radar. Check it out. Farther to the south, it looks like there's a new core. There is some good news though.
There's the old circulation. The new one is going to form further towards the south.
Yeah, I think there is some good news here. There could be, they expired the warning for Conway, Perry, and Yale, Arkansas.
That severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, that severe thunderstorm warning. So at least a little bit of good news on kind of a rough night here.
Yeah, so the...
they also canceled it for Dallas and Hot Springs, Arkansas. That was a severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. So that one's going to be coming off the map here pretty soon. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
So right now, we do not have a tornado down. That is a good and new development. What you're watching right here to the north of Hot Springs Village near Mount Ida Road, I think that is debris fallout. So you notice the debris now, instead of continuing east, has now moved north and it's started to spread out. So that is called debris fallout. And I think we've had the tornado that was on the ground from about Highway 7 all the way through Hot Springs Village, and it lifted probably about the time it crossed over DeSoto Boulevard and got towards in the vicinity of Mount Ida Road. I mean, we saw this storm start to merge with another storm, and the velocities dropped like that, and I think the tornado has ended. So that's what we're working on right now. We're working on bringing you images from Hot Springs Village. The old circulation looks like it's collapsed. The storm actually is recycling, and it's still a very formidable supercell. And Matt pointed out that it's forming a new hail core, so I think there's a good chance it re-strengthens, and it is going to move into Pulaski County at some point. Will it have a tornado threat? It's tough to say right now. I think we have to assume that at least here for the next hour, it's going to be capable of producing an isolated tornado. Those of us in northern and western Pulaski County, start to take note. It's 8:25 p.m. Some of you may be getting ready for bed, but we've got big storms off to our west, and we're going to have to watch this one as it moves into Pulaski County. We'll continue to watch the velocities on the south side of this storm, but at least at the moment, we do not have a tornado in northern Saline County, but we did have a tornado come through Hot Springs Village, and now we're watching a new hook echo form south of Sulphur Springs Road, west of Highway 9. Now, there's not much rotation with this at the moment, but I think given how things just went, this storm may actually try to recycle and put down another tornado somewhere further towards the east. I want to give you perspective on where this storm is. We just came through Hot Springs Village, and now we've got this big supercell, this big supercell that has merged with a storm and is now moving through northern Saline County. So we're staying up to date on with what the Weather Service has been saying. Hot Springs Village Police Department reports a trees down, power out, and there's a disabled patrol vehicle. The National Weather Service is about to draw up a new tornado warning.
Yeah, which is what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah,
that
so
there was
even
going to be a
though-
new core forming with this.
Even though we've got a new core forming, they think this is going to be a possible tornado producer. And I think what's going to happen here is this new tornado warning is going to include Highway 9, north of Benton, north of Bryant, and it may actually go into western sections of Pulaski County. So this is getting real interesting really fast, because I think this storm, at the very least, is going to be producing large hail as it comes into the metro area. So let's start thinking about tornado precautions and precautions that we take during severe thunderstorms. There's the new tornado warning. Does not include Pulaski County, but this new tornado warning for this new developing circulation does include a couple of very important highways here in Saline County, and that's Highway 9 and U.S. Highway 298. This is going to track close to Sulphur Springs Road, and Matt, I think the rotation right now is weak, but that
new core is strengthening rapidly. I can just tell by the radar data alone.
The concern is that this is going to develop into something very quickly.
Well, they put a new tornado warning out for it. So, I mean, that's right there. The National Weather Service says, yeah, we've got a new core here, likely due to the cell merger causing the old core to collapse and a new one to form now where that cell merged. So this is now farther to the east of Hot Springs Village, and right now I would put that really close to Sulphur Springs Road and just maybe northeast of DeSoto Boulevard. But a lot of times you can tell by the hail core signatures when you see those new cores fire up like that, that usually means that you've got a brand new core of a circulation forming. And in this case, that's exactly what has happened. So the National Weather Service has confirmed that as well. They've mentioned that hail is still a threat, and of course that's what we've been talking about. That's the hail core. So the hail core right now is moving right across. Looks like Sulphur. Wait, hang on a second. Let me check that again. It moving right across. I think it's Sulphur Springs Road. So that's pushing off to the east northeast as this storm moves. We have a estimated speed here at about 20 miles per hour, moving to the north and the east. That's with the new warning. So 20 miles an hour can sneak up on you. Max hail size looks to be about 2.75, which is baseball size hail. That alone will ruin your day, let alone the tornado warning. So definitely want to stay indoors. And if you live in a mobile home, that is not a safe structure to be in while there's a tornado in the area. It will provide very little in the way of any protection and can actually be a threat just because of the fact that they can be thrown around very easily. So that's something to take into consideration. But yeah, there is a pretty significant hail core with it, baseball-sized hail with the brand new core of this system now pushing across Sulphur Springs Road.
All right, so this got real serious real fast with that moving through Hot Springs Village. Emma confirmed to me that Emma's our morning reporter. She's come in and is helping us out with the severe weather this afternoon and evening, and she has got a report that at least 1,000 power outages were added there in the Hot Springs Village area. Presumably that's from poweroutage.us, and there's no traffic cams in this area, so we're not able to bring you any footage of what this storm is doing. But if you look at this storm, it is about as classic a supercell storm as you get. And while it's not currently producing a tornado, I do believe that it may.
Talking about the one over Sulphur Springs?
Yeah, Sulphur Springs Road. And the rotation continues to strengthen. And really, if you're in Sulphur Springs Road over towards Old Johnson Highway, anyone off of Arkansas Highway 9 in northern Saline County, you need to be in your tornado safe place. And then, of course, over towards the intersection of Arkansas 298. And I'm going to call out some more locations here that are have to excuse me. I need to get a drink of water. Matt, take over for just a second.
Yeah, and one of the important things that you got to understand, folks, that tornado warning, unless it's confirmed, does not necessarily mean that the National Weather Service thinks there's one on the ground. It means that the storm is capable of producing a tornado at just about any time. And many times, if it produces one that's small enough, it can last for a few seconds and then we'll miss it between the scans because the radar has to keep moving around and scanning everything around it in a 360-degree circle, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. And with this signature being very strong, I would say that's definitely a strong mesocyclone, which is an area of circulation in the base of the storm. That does not necessarily mean there's something on the ground, but you have to go ahead and assume that there is one just with this tornado warning currently in effect. It's moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. And also there are other storms here in the area, too, that have been severe warned that have not been producing any kind of tornado warnings here. There are a few off to the north and west where Greenwood and Ozark, you're actually getting some of that heavy rainfall. Morrilton, Greenbrier, Conway, now also in severe thunderstorm warnings, but no tornado warnings there. Only the one that is due east of Hot Springs Village that is moving right over top of Sulphur Springs Road. And it's a pretty strong hook echo, and a hook echo means that there is a lot of circulation above the ground and possibly even at the ground. And right now, I'm not seeing any bright couplets. As James was mentioning earlier, it doesn't look like there is actually one on the ground as of this point. But a lot of times, you can miss a tornado between scans if it comes down and then goes back up quickly enough to where the scan misses it entirely. So sometimes it can be very, very sneaky and just come down real quick, not last very long, only a few seconds, and then push off to the north and east again, and they can constantly go up and down just like a heartbeat, because a heart beats upward and downward, and how that heart works, systolic, diastolic pressure, all that kind of stuff. A storm is the same way. It pulses upward, it pulses downward, and that will cause it to have tornadoes that can be jumpers. They tend to come down, they go back up, and they can be very sneaky that way. And the worst ones, of course, being at night where you can't even see the thing because of the fact that it's just so dark outside. So we've been trying to get a good view of this with our cameras, but it's just so hard without getting the lightning in just the right spot to be able to see it. And that is, I would say, the only way you should be getting any kind of view of this is from the safety of our cameras where nobody's in danger at that point. It's just a remote camera that we can use to look at the storm. And unfortunately, the path of this thing, because of the new circulation, it takes it a little bit farther to the south. Hopefully this thing doesn't hold together this long. But if it does, it may end up threatening the metro area here because it does. The path right now takes it, I would say, due east rather than northeast at 20 miles per hour, like the original tornado warning has pointed out. That looks due east to me. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think so. And so I'm going to put just a storm track on this, and we're just going to plan on this thing moving towards the east. The Big Rock interchange in West Little Rock at 8:33. If this thing, or not 8:33, I don't know what's wrong with the time on that. But you see it gets towards Redgate there off I-30 at
I think it should be 9:33.
9:24. Yeah, I think so. So here we've got a little bit of time if this thing holds together. Hopefully it does not. But let's go into the northern Saline County storm because I think we're starting to see some strengthening in this circulation. And really, as you look at how it is working, it is spinning. The whole thing is spinning, and then you get a tornado at the bottom of that. So this just crossed over Highway 9, right near Sulphur Springs Road and Sulphur Springs. And so remain in your tornado safe place. Looking at the debris detector, there's nothing to, I think, lead me to believe we've got a tornado down right now. But man, that's unfortunately as classic a hook echo as you get. You're getting your warm and very humid air ingested into the storm. It's getting wrapped around into what is probably a very low-hanging walled cloud, and there's your possible tornado right near Sulphur Springs Road, and we're getting very close to Arkansas Highway 9. This is eventually going to cross over between Highway 9 and Arkansas Highway 298. Matt was saying it was moving due northeast. Storms like this a lot of times may start to turn to the right, and I think that may be what's happening with this storm. And as we've just got the latest scan, I think that is what has happened once again. I'm looking at multiple data sources. I'm trying to give you guys as much information and as much warning as possible. Got a couple of different parameters that I want to show you. We have not shown them yet tonight, but we have at our disposal StormNet, which had probabilities spike in advance of the Hot Springs Village tornado. They're still elevated for this storm, which makes me just another tool in the toolbox that leads me to believe that this storm is going to try to produce a tornado again. So here's a report from Hot Springs Village that I've got. Heard that trees are down all over DeSoto, and that people are trying to get out of flipped vehicles. So that is a report that I have gotten secondhand from Hot Springs Village. Emma Allen, our reporter, is still working on getting information out of Hot Springs Village. We have a crew that will be there probably within the next 30 minutes. And so we'll be bringing you live pictures of Hot Springs Village by the time we get to our 10 o'clock newscast. It looks like the Weather Service, they're going to hang on to this tornado warning probably for a while until this storm completely dies out or exhibits that it's done producing tornadoes.
It looks unlikely given the fact that there is nothing to the south that's actually going to take its energy from it. There's no merging. There's nothing else there. The closest storm to it that could possibly detract from it is right near Prattsville, and that doesn't look like it's on a beeline course toward that storm at all. So this thing has pretty much uninterrupted flow moving into it of warm, moist air, which makes this a very dangerous situation and makes another tornado very likely to come out with this storm if it hasn't already. Plus, the hail core with it, too, has been a major threat, and the hail core shows it moving due east. Now, the hail core tends to be in the area of strongest updrafts. That's what keeps the hail suspended in the air. And when you have that strong updraft, that means that you'll have strong downdrafts typically right next to it. So that's how we can kind of also tell where the core of this thing is. And considering that it is now moving east of Sulphur Springs Road, it looks like it's, I would put it either right on top of Alum Fork Ranch Road or closer maybe to Twin Sisters Trail. But I would say the core of this still looks to be wide enough to where it's hard to really pinpoint an actual tornado based on just the velocity data alone. James, have you seen anything on the debris detection?
I don't think so.
Well, that's at least some good news.
I just don't think the circulation is strong enough. But looking at the storm and looking at where it's positioned, I'm very concerned for Pulaski County and, of course, northern Saline County over the next hour. I think we're going to have to deal with this, and I think there's a possibility that a tornado will be produced by this storm within its lifetime. I'm looking at some of the latest data here from the evening sounding, Matt. Temperatures, they're still in the 70s. Dew points are in the upper 60s. I think the environment still supports the production of some tornadoes with this storm. So
the one bit of good news, though, is that while we had a temperature high today of 81 degrees, we have dropped down to 73 here in Little Rock.
Yeah, so now it's a race to cool the air, and we'll see how that goes. But right now, still a very serious situation. We've got strengthening rotation now in Saline County between Highway 9 and Highway 298. And so we're going to continue to watch this storm. Of course, there's a big hail threat with this storm, and along the path of this storm, it's been producing very large hail and it will continue to do so. But we'll continue to follow this, and in fact, with a storm like this, you can actually pinpoint where the rotation is, because it is just so classic of a storm. You've got the warm, humid air being in the inflow right there, and you've got whatever your tornado would be right there at the southwest end of the storm. Unfortunately, for those of us in the metro area, all too familiar with the storm that took this track almost a year ago, it is moving east. And there's nothing right now in front of it that's really going to put the brakes on this thing. Hey, good news, though. The same environment that was in place on March 31st last year is not in place tonight. That doesn't mean you can't have a tornado. We just had one in Hot Springs Village, but I hope that eases some of your fears. So if you're in Pulaski County, you're starting to get worried about what's sitting to our west, just think about over the next 30 minutes where your tornado safe plan is going to be. And I would say, really, those of you close to Chenal Mountain, Chenal, Ferndale, and maybe further towards the south, getting into West Little Rock, just start to have those conversations because this storm is moving towards the east, and I think we're going to continue to see some strengthening with this storm. Still, I don't see that there's an immediate tornado on the ground right now. That's great.
Yeah, the National Weather Service is still saying it's capable. Rather than radar detected.
Yeah, we're going to watch this storm close, but if you're in Pulaski County starting to get worried, I want to ease your fears. You know, we'll get through it. Hopefully it weakens before it moves into Pulaski County. But this storm, with a history of producing a tornado was down in Hot Springs Village. We've got some significant damage in Hot Springs Village. This is about to move into Pulaski County here over the next 30 minutes. Matt, would you check the forward speed on this storm? I'm going to start putting a storm track through a lot of Pulaski County.
I think it looks like it's maintained it. I'd say it's moving east here at about 20 miles per hour. So
it's
from
not
what
moving
I've seen,
fast. Yeah. It's not moving fast.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take it a little while to get into Pulaski County. Hopefully, it not moving fast means that it weakens before it gets into Pulaski County. Remember, storms on March 31st of last year were moving at 60 miles per hour. Our tornado March 31st last year was moving at 60 miles per hour. This storm moving a lot slower, and that's a good thing. Hopefully it weakens before it gets into Pulaski County. Now, if you're watching me in Saline County, this is north of you, Benton, Bryant, Salem, Alexander. This is well towards your north. This is off Sulphur Springs Road, and this is an area of Saline County. It's a beautiful area of Saline County, a lot of forested areas. This is east of Highway 9 and west of Arkansas 298, and one of the only roads that's in between there is Bland Trail and Davis Wells Road, and so it looks like there is some terrain here in between Arkansas 298 and Arkansas Highway 9. Regardless, if you're in this region, make sure you're in your tornado safe place. And then those of you that are east of Arkansas 298 up towards Lake Norrell, you've got to be in your tornado safe spot right now as well. This thing is coming up quick on Arkansas 298, and it's going to be moving up towards the lake here shortly. Again, a very beautiful area of Saline County. Not a place I'd want to be looking for a tornado. I want you guys to go ahead and go to your tornado safe place. There's some terrain that you'd have to deal with. Of course, it's night. Right now, as I look at the velocity, we're still getting very strong inflow winds. Not a whole lot on the other side, but I think this is the region that we're watching for the possible formation of a tornado. And tornadoes, if you remember March 31st, we didn't have one, and then all of a sudden we had one. That's how it works. Storms can produce tornadoes very quickly. So we're going to be watching this as it crosses over Arkansas 298, at least for the moment. Right now, do not have a tornado down, but this is a very concerning radar signature, at least as we go through the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes as this storm moves further towards the east. I'm going to stay on this image right here. Matt, I just want us to continue to work on gathering reports from Hot Springs Village. A large number of people live there, and they had a tornado go through their area. We'll work on that. I'm going to let you look at the storm, which, as from a reflectivity, Matt, standpoint, it continues to look more and more impressive.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it does. And the other thing, too, is, I mean, this thing is not I mean, it's forming a very pronounced hook on it, right just west of Highway 298. And that is very troubling to see, because that's when we're looking at something that is, I mean, it's wrapped around. But unfortunately, it looks like it's rain wrapped at this point. And a rain wrapped tornado is very, very difficult to see, and not to mention the fact that it's at night. So when you look at this here on the velocity data, what we're looking for is a bright red and bright green couplet, which is basically the two colors right next to each other. We're not seeing the bright green, but that could also be due to the slow forward movement speed of the storm, because green means the air is moving toward the radar, red means it's moving away. And so with the slower speed, you're probably not going to see that green as bright as it would be otherwise based on the slow speed of this storm. So it would be probably a little bit brighter if it was moving faster. But again, it is only moving, I would say, maybe 20 miles an hour, possibly even slower than that. The National Weather Service hasn't put out an update on the speed of this tornado-warned storm. Let's see. Well, actually, no, they did. They said it was moving northeast. This was as of 8:37. They said it was moving northeast at 40 miles per hour, which to me doesn't make much sense. I don't know if that's moving at 40 miles per hour.
So the latest from the Storm Prediction Center, they put out a discussion about this storm. They issue our severe weather outlooks, those maps that we show you. And they have said the environment is supportive of this storm right here, producing another tornado as it nears the western side of Little Rock. So that is the current situation. We don't think a tornado is currently down. For those of you along Arkansas 298, we don't think a tornado is currently down, like we had one go through Hot Springs Village. But as this moves towards the east, I think it's going to have the chance to produce a tornado unless the storm weakens and falls apart. Sometimes that happens. We are getting close to 9 o'clock. We are beginning to lose the source of daytime heating. However, upper level winds ticking up just ever so slightly, I think keep this as a substantial tornado risk, of course, to northern Saline and eventually western Pulaski County. And I have to wonder, Matt, if the Weather Service will preemptively issue a tornado warning for western Pulaski County as this gets closer and closer
they haven't mentioned anything yet.
To the western area of the county.
They did issue a severe thunderstorm warning, though, that includes Chenal Mountain.
Okay.
So that is something that they have been looking at. Even if there wasn't a tornado, there would still be a significant hail threat with this thing, because you can tell just by the circulation that there's a very strong wind flow at the top of this storm. All right, they just did an update here on the tornado warning. They have it moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. So that I did think that 40 miles an hour was a bit much. I just didn't see it moving that fast, and they have updated it now to confirm a slower speed of 25 miles an hour with this. But they're still putting it at northeast, and to me, this thing looks like it's moving more due east.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical with these types of storms. So we're going to be tracking this as it moves into Pulaski County, everyone. I want you, if you're in eastern Saline County or the northern section of Pulaski County, to just be thinking about where you're going to go for your tornado safe spot. I'm looking at the StormNet probabilities, which is it's a predictive AI deal, StormNet is, and it's got its probabilities, over 50% for this storm elevated as it goes into the western section of Pulaski County. Now, I've seen this particular index go way up above 90% when there's been a tornado. So, 50%, it's not amazing probabilities, does not guarantee anything, but it does let us know that the environment right here is supportive of a tornado. And the storm that we're watching, it's really a terrible radar image to see a tornadic supercell like this. You see the current tornado warning is really focused in on one small area of Saline County. That area of Saline County is just right along Arkansas 298. And what we're actually able to do right now is kind of make out some of the features that we're not normally able to see on radar here in Arkansas. But there's a stream. This is called the rear flank downdraft, and this basically acts like a mini cold front, cooler air from behind the storm. Out in front, we've got warm, humid air being pulled into the storm, and the storm, as long as it can balance these two things, can still produce a tornado. Now, sometimes what happens is that cold air overtakes it and cuts off the circulation, and then you have the end of the tornado threat. On days like today, if storms can balance that, you can see tornado threats exist over the course of long periods of time.
Now, Jay, actually, you know what? I think that might be happening, because you can kind of see here on velocity data that the brightest signatures there for the wind that's moving away from our radar site.
Caden, who's that from?
Is separating from the area, the wind that's moving toward the radar site. So that shows that the circulation is broadening. Now, broadening is a good thing. That means what we look for when we want to see a tornado, or we want to see a tornado signature and make sure that there is one there, is to see something like that tightening. And if a circulation is tightening, it's more likely to be producing a tornado than if it is broadening. And right now, this thing looks like it is broadening currently.
That is good news, but we're going to continue to think
we have to assume it's still a tornado.
The potential to produce tornado. This is some new information out of Hot Springs Village. Significant damage on the south and southeast side of Hot Springs Village. So that is some of the latest news out of there. Just an awful night for those of you that are in Hot Springs Village. This is the storm that we started tracking over an hour ago at this point. The tornado started right along Highway 7, went through Hot Springs Village, and now we're watching Saline County as this storm, the tornado-warned part of the storm, is right here. We're going to see if this storm falls apart. We have quite a few chasers in the metro area awaiting this storm as it moves towards the east. And I just want everyone to really start thinking about your tornado precautions. We've seen storms before weaken as they move in. This one, we don't know. It could weaken, it could hold together. We are going to continue watching this. It looks like on Chime In, we're getting a lot of reports of hail. Continue getting reports of hail. These storms will produce hail.
Check out the hail core on this thing.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the hail quite a bit. There's a picture of hail, and that is from Billy Butler, and that's in Hot Springs Village. That is over golf ball size hail that fell in North Hot Springs Village, and that's what we're watching in the storm that's currently moving into the Little Rock metro area. At this point, this storm is...
Check out the hail signature, though. It has dropped off significantly.
And that is some good news.
Yeah.
But if we're just going to track the storm as is over the course of the next...
the warning expires at 9 p.m., by the way.
Okay, so we'll see what the National Weather Service does with this storm, whether they preemptively keep a tornado warning on it. And we're hoping that it falls apart. But if it does not, here is the time out on this storm as it moves towards the east, and maybe even the east-northeast. It's still... given its current pace, unless it speeds up, it's still a ways away from downtown Twin Springs there in West Little Rock, and then Chenal Mountain coming up here in about 25 to 30 minutes. So it's still a ways out there. Of course, we do have a camera on Chenal Mountain, and I'm going to pull that up real quick. I'm going to get the camera turned around back towards the west. It looks like it is raining out there, so it may be pretty hard to see anything. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to see anything right now from that camera. So these storms today, they've been cyclical. They have not just produced a long-lived tornadoes. Even the Hot Springs Village storm, the tornado was down for several minutes at the very least. And it may have actually been a strong tornado, but this storm, at least for the last several minutes as it's crossed Saline County, has not had a tornado down. Now, it's got the potential to produce a tornado, but it has not had a tornado down. Matt, does the Weather Service have a plan on what they're going to do downstream? And here in about 8 minutes...
No, they haven't said anything, which kind of leads me to believe that they are also lacking confidence that this thing is still capable of producing a tornado. The hail signatures have dropped on our computers here down to less than severe criteria. So this may be more of a wind threat, and if that ends up being the case, it could be becoming what's called outflow dominant, and that means that it's becoming more of a wind maker rather than anything else. That means it's just the downdrafts are overtaking the updrafts, which is actually very common when it comes to nighttime storms because you don't have the ability of the sun to help create new updrafts. You would need other factors involved there, which I won't. There's no need to explain. But right now, I'm not seeing any re-strengthening of the core of this storm. So the latest on the velocity data still shows that the circulation is fairly broad. I'm just not seeing any kind of tight couplet or any signature that there's something on the ground. We just have to assume that anywhere in this warned area there could be a tornado on the ground. And I would even include farther south, closer to Steel Bridge Road, and then anywhere from the north toward Lake Norrell Road or Thomas Loop Road with this. The brightest signatures on velocity are right over North Lake. Sorry, I zoomed back out too fast. Around Hollowell Trail and North Lake Norrell Drive. You could end up with some very strong wind gusts in that area coming out of this storm. So it looks like, they went ahead and issued one.
There's the new tornado warning. And I know everyone watching this is thinking, that this is March 31st all over again. We don't know that, but I want you all in West Little Rock, Maumelle, Chenal, even all the way to downtown. Take your tornado precautions immediately. Now, this storm is not currently producing a tornado, but it could as it moves towards the east. So this is a tornado warning for the western side and northwestern side of Pulaski County. And this is the storm that we're going to be watching over the next hour as it moves into a very highly populated area. We have numerous chasers that are staged at Maumelle and in West Little Rock as this thing moves into, unfortunately, what's a highly populated area. So I think we're going to be bringing you live pictures here. We're going to be looking to the west from Chenal Mountain. I'm going to be working on getting you those. But right now, I just want to talk about who is in the tornado warning polygon and who needs to be seeking shelter immediately. This is everyone from Maumelle over towards downtown. You still have time all the way out west, Colonel Glenn Road, Canis Road, Chenal Valley, over towards Chenal Mountain, up towards Pinnacle Mountain, which sits just north of Highway 10, and then all the way back down Congo-Ferndale Road. All those locations. Go ahead and start moving to your tornado safe place. We do not currently have a tornado down, but we definitely have what could be, what could amount to be a significant storm that's moving into the metro area. Okay, we've got sirens sounding here in downtown, so a lot of you are probably hearing your tornado sirens go off. I'll highlight the tornado warning there for you so you can see it. It is in effect until 9:45 for Saline, eastern Saline, and Pulaski County. It includes Little Rock, Maumelle, includes areas north of Benton and Bryant, well north of Benton and Bryant. And this is the area that we're watching is moving northeast or east-northeast at 30 miles per hour. So hopefully this doesn't do anything. That is the hope. But I want you all to take your tornado precautions just in the event that it does. It's very important that you take the steps to protect yourself and your family. Now, it's getting close to 9 o'clock. Obviously, most of you are probably at home. Go to an interior room in your house. If you don't have anything that gets you underground, an interior room, make sure that you're away from windows. I would advise not going in the garage, and make sure that you are on the lowest level possible. Now, if you live in an apartment complex, numerous apartment complexes out here in West Little Rock, you need to get down off of the upper floors. If you live on the second, third, or fourth floor out here in Chenal or another part of the western side of Little Rock, you need to start making a plan. It's not this second where this is bearing down on you, but you need to start making a plan to get down onto some lower levels. We're continuing to watch this, and we're hoping that it just fizzles and doesn't bring us a tornado into Pulaski County. The area of rotation, I think, you know, the inflow is still pretty strong. So I'm reading something from the National Weather Service, and they opted to go ahead and issue the tornado warning as this is coming into Pulaski County. We're still getting reports out of Hot Springs Village of some pretty significant damage. We have the iDrive Arkansas camera network, of course, is definitely going to be utilized as this storm gets closer and closer to us. We have cameras at Big Rock. We have a camera on Chenal Mountain, which is currently just dealing with the total rainfall, so we do not have a view off towards the southwest. But this is the dangerous storm that we're talking about. It's got the classic look. There's your hook echo there that's approaching the Saline-Pulaski County line. At least as of right now, we have no reason to believe that there is a tornado down. You're looking at what we call the debris detector. If we had a tornado down, we would see a blue dot pop up in that region right there, and we do not see that. And that is certainly some good news. And I hope that continues, because this is as classic a storm as it gets. And the observations at Little Rock lead me to believe that this storm, very possible that it produces an isolated tornado as it comes into Pulaski County. We hope that it doesn't, but make sure that you guys are taking your tornado safe spot wherever you are in Pulaski County. Still getting reports, and once this threat is over, we'll revisit what has happened off towards the west. We're getting reports of very large hail to Hot Springs Village, significant damage that occurred on the south and southeast side of Hot Springs Village. But the immediate, imminent threat is what's about to come into Pulaski County. Now, some of you may have just gotten the alert on your phone. Some of you may have just heard the warning sirens going off in part of Little Rock or Maumelle. This is a serious situation. There's not a tornado down at this time with this tornado, but that could change at any moment. If you're in West Little Rock, all the way up towards downtown, we want you to get in your tornado safe place immediately. The tornado warning includes all locations from the Saline and Pulaski County line up towards Maumelle, back towards Pinnacle Mountain, Chenal, all the way down almost towards the 430 and 30 split. Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's in that region. North of that area, up towards the Big Rock Interchange and over towards downtown. All those locations. Go ahead and get in your tornado safe spot. The edge of the tornado warning goes right about to Crystal Hill. And that's the eastern edge of the tornado warning. So this storm is going to be moving east-northeast through the metro area, and hopefully at this point the only thing that it brings us is a little bit of hail. And while we're talking about the subject of hail, I think we can look at the hail. I don't think the hail is as big as it was towards Hot Springs Village, but it's...
you know, the National Weather Service actually was mentioning that they do not expect the warning to last the entire extent, which is until it expires at 9:45.
Okay.
But they said that they wanted to, based on its history and the structure of it, they couldn't just not issue a tornado warning. So what they're doing is they're playing it safe with this storm, but they share our skepticism about one actually being on the ground right now.
Well, we know there's not one down, and so that's certainly good. I'm looking for a feed from a chaser that's here in the Little Rock area. We have Brett Adair with Live Storms Media, who is here. You know, and I know it doesn't look impressive right now, but we just cannot count on it staying that way with the structure that this storm currently has. So sirens are going off in Little Rock. They're likely going off in West Little Rock, and they're likely going off from Maumelle. We just had a big rumble of thunder here in downtown.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I think as we get this storm into Pulaski County, I'm hoping that it just doesn't produce. That would be the best case scenario. So again, the atmosphere not quite built like it was on March 31st of last year. I know that's the big fear, is that we're about to go through that. The storm is following a very similar track, but at least as of this moment, we don't have strong enough rotation to say that a tornado is on the ground, and it really doesn't look like that is the case. So we hope that that continues, but we know it can change in an instant. We're really looking at this very broad rotation. If you were watching us when the storm was back at Hot Springs Village, it was real tight and enclosed, a small area, a very strong rotation. This is pretty broad. So that's good news now, but it can change very quickly. So the tornado, this is why the tornado warning was issued, given the storm's history and given the track, favorable tracking into an environment where the environment supports tornadoes. That's why the tornado warning is in effect. So take your tornado precautions. If nothing happens, that's great. And you got to take your tornado precautions for about 20 to 30 minutes. So hopefully this warning we're seeing the National Weather Service that has issued, hopefully the storm that prompted the warning is going to start to weaken. I don't see the storm really weakening at all. I think this thing is just continuing to move to the east, and the storm, at least in its presentation on radar, looks as impressive as ever. It's still getting a steady stream of warm, humid air, and hopefully it's not going to tap in anything that causes it to put down a tornado.
There's still that variable of the storm off to the south and east that was earlier made into a severe thunderstorm, and now it isn't a severe thunderstorm, or it isn't a warned storm, but that is going to be a wild card too as it tries to move up to the north. Looks like we had Denny Road at Waldenwood Lane. We had a report of quarter-size hail there.
Okay, so that's at Denny Road. That's in West Little Rock, and so the hail core now is getting into far West Little Rock. I'm looking at a video from Hot Springs Village where we've got trees and power lines down. And I've got another update here from one of our producers. No reports of injuries or death there at Hot Springs Village. That's good. But there's damage on Highway 7.
Thank goodness.
Below the Village Gate in the Walmart area. Hot Springs Village PD and Hot Springs PD are on the way to that. So we will be bringing you more information out of Hot Springs Village soon. Of course, the most imminent situation that we're dealing with is what's happening out in West Little Rock, or Western Pulaski County, rather. We're still not dealing with a very strong circulation, but Again, it can change in an instant. That's why we want you taking your tornado safety precautions immediately if you're in the western sections of Little Rock. And I got to tell you, I think at least in the last few minutes, I'm starting to see some signs that the storm is beginning to strengthen just a little bit. At least the area of rotation is beginning to strengthen just a little bit. So that's something that we're going to watch as it gets into Pulaski County. There's just slightly better outflow winds there, Matt. Inflow and outflow winds. Not quite to the point where we would be worried about tornado production, but it is slightly better. And so that's something to consider here when we're talking about the western Little Rock.
You know what also I've noticed is it looks like it's starting to take just a slightly more northerly track. Can you kind of see that?
Yes, I do.
That actually, I believe, is a good sign. Typically, when these things start to move a little bit more toward the left, that means that they're moving away from the greatest source of warm, moist air, which they thrive on. Now, that could just be temporary. It could end up just re-strengthening and starting to cause a lot of havoc again. But in terms of the hail core, the hail sizes have dropped quite a bit with this particular cell, at least according to our instruments. So, still a lot of impressive wind above the ground. It's just a question of is that translating to the ground with this cell? And it looked earlier like the outflow was trying to drown it, but I'm seeing it on radar is still a really pretty healthy inflow notch there coming into this storm. The only question is where exactly is that center of circulation?
Yeah, I just don't like the look of it, Matt. I don't like the look of it. Let's go to Brett Adair, Live Storms Media. He's in West Little Rock, and he is chasing for us. He was here on March 31st, and we are now looking at, I think he was in West Little Rock, and so he's clearly on the freeway, and we've got a view of him. And, oh, man, I'm going to go back to radar real quick. I think we're getting a pretty drastic increase in velocities here now on the western side of Little Rock. Unfortunately, at least inflow winds, as you were saying. So just in the last couple of scans, this is really starting to pick up in intensity. So this is what we were talking about. It happens fast off Congo Ferndale Road at Colonel Glenn. We're starting to get an increase in rotation off Congo Ferndale Road and at Colonel Glenn. This is just south of Ferndale, just south of Canis Road. Those of you in West Little Rock, you've had some time. I hope you're in your tornado safe spot now. This is the area of rotation that we're watching, and it has started to really begin to wrap up a little bit. And so that is, yeah, it's not good. We've got the strong air inflow right there, and we've got a possible tornado right here. So off East Colonel Glenn, this is going to be moving off towards the east, and it will approach Chenal Parkway. Highway 10 is up here, and there's Canis Road right there. So those of you familiar with the western sections of Little Rock, all of you need to be in a tornado-safe place immediately. This is a very dangerous storm. North of Canis Road, we're likely seeing hail out towards Pinnacle Mountain, Chenal Valley, and up towards Cantrell Road. Off towards the west of Midtown, likely seeing at least a dime to quarter size hail. The area of rotation that we're watching, I'm going to be looking at what the Weather Service has to think about this.
They just updated the warning, actually. They said the core circulation is 8 miles west of West Little Rock, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour.
Okay, we're going to go back to
Right
Brett
near Chenal
Adair.
Valley.
Brett Adair is off 430 at North Rodney Parham. Now, this is where he was sitting back on March 31st. You may remember him sitting there at the 10 Fitness, and that is where he is right now. So he is looking towards the west, and I really hope the scene that we get this time is much different than what we saw last March. But he is looking off towards the west, and he is going to let us know what he sees. We're going to be looking towards the west. So we're going to go back to the storm. And at some point, I'll get you a view from our tower cam if the rain clears off of the Chenal Mountain tower cam. Still some broad, I think, so far, weak rotation, but that right there is something that we're going to want to watch as it moves off towards the east. And still think there's the possibility that we could have a tornado develop out of this storm as it moves into West Little Rock. The tornado warning includes everybody up towards Maumelle, Pinnacle Mountain, Chenal Mountain, all of West Little Rock, Chenal Valley, all the way down to Canis and those areas, and all the way over to really UALR and downtown. It does extend pretty far towards the east. Does not yet include North Little Rock or places northeast of the river or northeast of I-40. It does go all the way to Crystal Hill. So get in your tornado safe places. We're going to continue to track this thing step by step. Matt, give that, I'm going to look at the tower cams real quick just to see if we have anything. The Chenal Mountain Tower cam
If you want,
is showing us nothing.
Can you check out the latest picture on Stackler from Doug Ernst? He actually has a pretty big hailstone in his hand there. I wasn't able to get a check on where that actually was, though.
Yeah, that's in Hot Springs Village.
That was Hot Springs?
Village,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
All right, well, let's start looking at some tower cams here. We'll go to, this is Hot Springs. We're going to start going to downtown. So,
You know, Chenal Mountain looks like it might be clearing some of the heavy rain. It could give us a good view of it.
okay, we'll look there in a minute. This is from downtown looking towards the west. There's another view towards the west. This is from the Regions building. And from the Regions building, we're going to want to look almost due west to west-southwest. Of course, it's going to be very difficult for us to see anything unless we can see something between the lightning, and the storm is still pretty far away. But that is the direction our camera is going to remain pointed. You see plenty of lightning. As I look at the Chenal Mountain camera, that is the view from Chenal Mountain, our camera up there. Nothing to be seen just yet. And then as we go back to Brett Adair's stream with Live Storms Media, he is sitting off 430, and that's at North Rodney Parham. So back to radar we go. Hopefully, again, no reports of a tornado right now, but a very, very impressive storm is moving into the western section of Pulaski County. We've got a classic supercell structure. There's the big hook echo that you look for when you're tracking tornadoes. There's the warm, humid air being pulled into the storm. Of course, you felt how it was outside today. We had very warm, humid conditions and just enough ingredients there for a few tornadoes. We had a tornado at Hot Springs Village. We'll be bringing you information from there. I'm really hoping that this tornado warning turns out to be issued with no tornado confirmed. That is what we're hoping for right now. But if you're in West Little Rock, this is getting close now. It's on the Saline-Pulaski County line. If you're in West Little Rock, you've got to be in your tornado safe place. As the rain and hail shield moves towards the north, you will be able to probably see the rain stop before any type of circulation gets to you.
We've got a new update from the National Weather Service. They said it's starting to look like it's tightening up again and moving on down. The 0.9 scan looks a little bit better with the 0.5 improving. So, and then we also have a report from Joshua Carroll, actually on our chat there, about wind and having calmed down.
Okay, so it is getting a little bit more concerning. We'll be tracking every single scan. They're going to be updating, and yep, I think you've got something here. That to me, right there at East Colonel Glen, this scan right here.
Yeah, that looks like it might be it.
That looks like it might be something. So we've got something that's tightened up right here off Congo-Ferndale Road and West Colonel Glen Road, and this is moving east. This is about to cross the Saline-Pulaski County line. The Faulkner Road, Colonel Glen, that runs out towards the west. You've got to be in a tornado safe place right now. I want to make it very clear, you know, no two weather events are the same. No two weather events are the same. We don't know that this will be a repeat of March 31st, but it is following a very similar path, and the atmosphere is not doing the same things it was doing on that day, but I just want to ease the fears. At the same time, though, we still have a serious situation developing moving into western Pulaski County, and I think that's what we're watching very carefully right there. And it looks like Brett Adair is on the move. We'll be seeing from his stream here shortly. I can't yet confirm that that's a tornado, but that is as impressive a circulation, I think, as we can get.
Well, within a large circulation center like what we're seeing right here, a lot of times you can end up seeing multiple small circulations or vortices form within it, anywhere within it.
Yeah, I'm looking up at the 0.9 scan as well. I think we're going to have something down here here shortly.
Now, the latest scan actually just barely panned it down a little bit.
Okay, that's good news. Looking above, I was looking at a couple of different radar tilts, and you go up from 500 feet up to 900 feet, and it showed a much tighter circulation. So scan to scan, we're closer to the radar. We're going to be getting scans faster, and so we're just going to follow this. We don't know that it's down yet, but I hope everyone out on the south side of Ferndale, Canis Road is in their tornado safe spot. There goes Colonel Glenn Road. And that's a major road out there. It's approaching Twin Springs. Hopefully what we have is above the ground, but the radar is in North Little Rock, and we're hitting this storm at about 1,000 feet. That's not that far above the ground. So if you get strong rotation closer to the radar, you're more likely to have a tornado on the ground. And hopefully we don't have that yet, but I think one could be developing very shortly. Matt?
Yeah, the National Weather Service has also kind of echoed that thought that the latest scan was somewhat weakened a bit, looks not as tight. And says that they're calling it a couplet. They're saying that the couplet's moving at 15 miles per hour.
That's a couplet. It's not quite as strong as it was just a couple of seconds ago. But, you know, we've got a storm, and what's happening here is the warm, humid air is getting pulled all the way back into what would be the tornado that is right here on the Saline-Pulaski County line. And as long as this little area, this hook, maintains its presentation, you can get a tornado, and sometimes if that becomes cut off, the storm has to go through a recycling process, and I hope that that is what happens as this crosses one of the highest populated areas in the state, and an area that just dealt with the tornado less than a year ago. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. So very dangerous situation here. Nobody should be driving along Canis Road between Ferndale and West Little Rock. Henson Road is over here, of course, Chenal Parkway. And there's Canis and, you know, Financial Center Parkway back here as well. Cantrell and Highway 10 is up here. Chenal Mountain is just towards the north. I'm going to look real quick to see if we have any type of view from our Chenal Mountain camera, and we do not. I think the cloud bases are just a little too low. I'm going to go back
it's stuck on the ceiling.
I'm going to go back to Brett Adair's feed. He is in West Little Rock. He was at
he mentioned that there was a really big uptick in the lightning, by the way, too.
Okay, so
just over the last
we
few
still
minutes.
have the strong rotation there, at least from a few minutes ago. That rotation weakened, but that doesn't mean the threat is over. It looks like Brett Adair is getting in position now to get a view. He was off of I-430 and Rodney Parham at the 10 Fitness. Right now his view is obstructed by trees. He's probably repositioning, but this guy is as good of a storm chaser as you get. He does it safely, and we're going to be getting a view from him here shortly of the base of this storm. Hopefully the base of this storm that does not have a tornado attached to it. So we're going to continue to monitor his feed. I'm going to look at the storm net probabilities for this storm real quick, and unfortunately, the storm net probabilities are beginning to spike over West Little Rock in advance of this storm as it is moving through the downtown, or through the west and downtown areas. So that is a little concerning. You know, we're still structurally, I'd call that a couplet. Now this is coming off towards, this is now east of Canis Road. We've still got very strong inflow winds crossing over Chenal Mountain, wrapping back around into this. And so that is the concern right there, is that this could result in the formation of a tornado, at least at the current moment. I don't think we have a tornado at the current moment. In fact, Brett's got a view towards the west, and we'll go back to this. I think he's got a view out over the city. I'm going to find out where Brett is and tell you exactly where he is and exactly where we're looking. Remember, large hail is falling on the north side of this, but by far the most...
It's actually right on top of Chenal Mountain.
Yeah, the most dangerous threat is the tornado, the possible tornado. So I see, through the lightning there, I see the base of the storm, I believe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell without a constant feed of lightning if there's actually a circulating center with that. But, I mean, based on what we're seeing on velocity data, this storm is definitely rotating.
All right, we're going to keep coming back to Brett Adair's feed. He's going to let me know.
Like a slight downtick in the lightning there, actually, a little bit.
He's going to let me know where he's at. This storm, it kind of looks like it's beginning to go through a bit of a recycling phase, and I don't like to see that, because I think we could get maybe a more favorable orientation for a tornado with this storm at some point. So still looking at very strong inflow winds right over West Little Rock. Looks like the circulation that we're following right now is just towards the south of Chenal Mountain, and well, we'll go ahead and look at that just to see if we do see anything off Chenal Mountain.
Now, you might have to point the camera straight down to the ground, and even that might not be good enough.
All right, let me change the camera out here to Chenal. Okay, we do actually have a view from our Chenal Mountain camera, and I'm going to turn it around back towards the west. Okay, looks like we've got something real low hanging there, right there. This is the Chenal Mountain weather cam. I'm just going to work on focusing the camera. Let's see if we can see anything between the lightning flashes. So this tornado warning continues to include western Pulaski County. We're looking at the Chenal Mountain weather cam. We don't believe that we have a tornado down right now. That feed from Brett Adair was west on Rodney Parham. This is the Chenal Mountain weather cam. I'm trying to get it focused. And Matt, keep looking at that for the lightning. I see a real low.
We have a report of a funnel cloud
rain.
over Cruise Loop.
That could be rain. It's hard to tell in the dark.
Let me see about this. Now, that looks like a downpour to me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to swing this camera around, see if we can see anything.
That's what makes these so dangerous, folks. It's really hard to be able to see and confirm these things at night. And
I don't think we're going to have a view of that. I think we're looking up towards the hail core, because there's the west side of the mountain, and that's going to be looking off towards, that's going to be looking right off towards the north. So that's going to be heavy rain and hail that's falling up there towards Pinnacle Mountain. I'm going to swing this thing back around towards the south, and maybe something perhaps comes into view as the storm continues to move towards the east.
No.
So we're pointed now towards downtown, and if there is something, we'll be able to see it. Man, it looks like
it does look like some inflow there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can actually see that, can't you?
Yeah, there it is.
There. Okay, we're looking towards the east. Be in your tornado safe place. That's it right there. That looks like that may be inflow. It could be a funnel cloud. The camera's out of focus, and we're looking from Chenal Mountain towards the east. But looking at the radar, we're pointed right at the circulation. So I fortunately don't see any power flashes, but this is a very dangerous situation right now over West Little Rock.
When you see the moisture looking like it's coming straight off the ground, that is not good, because that means that this storm is very much surface-based and has a direct connection to the ground. That's what you have to have in order for a tornado to form. The storm has to have a connection to the ground, and I see no indication that this thing is not connected to the ground right now.
Oh, man, look at the latest velocity scan.
Yeah, it looks like it's just southeast of Chenal Mountain. And I mean just. I mean, it is right there.
So the velocities are spiking, and you see that right there, Matt, just to the east of Chenal Mountain. We're looking at our Chenal Mountain camera. I'm looking for power flashes. I hope everybody's in a tornado-safe place right now. We're looking right towards the circulation. If something is down, we're going to see power flashes. Right now, I don't think we see that. I've got reports from chasers. It looks like Chenal Mountain's starting to get back into some of the rain that's going to take away the view here. So, Matt, if you would, keep an eye on that camera in case we can see something. I'm going to come back in, and now this storm, it looks like it's going to go towards the north of downtown, but just towards the east of Chenal Mountain, right in Chenal Valley, we have rotation either right above the ground and hopefully not down on the ground, but that is the area of rotation that we're working at. Chenal Mountain it's right over Chenal Mountain. Pinnacle Mountain is just towards the north, of course, across off Highway 300. This is Cantrell Road. All the Chenal Valley neighborhoods are right here. If you're listening to me and you're in Chenal Valley, I hope you're in your tornado safe place. This is going to be gone very soon. Don Roberts Elementary here is coming up on the south side of Highway 10. There's Highway 10 and Rawling, the intersection right there, of course, with the big shopping center. All of these locations, hopefully we don't have a tornado down, but if you are in any of these locations I'm talking about, just get to a tornado safe place and hopefully we can wait this out with little incident. The National Weather Service is telling us that the storm is starting to tighten up again. I'm actually getting a radar indicated tornado vortex signature over West Little Rock. I'm going to go back to Brett Adair's feed and we're going to see what he's got. He's still looking towards the west, and I think he's got a pretty good view of it. Steve, if we can go back to Max 1 real quick, and we can look towards the west on Brett Adair's feed. Oh, okay. Here we go. So that's Brett Adair. He's sitting west on Rodney Parham, looking towards the west. He's not far away from this thing. And everybody, I hope this thing is just staying above the ground.
The circulation, I have noticed, does look a little bit smaller than it did when it was closer to Hot Springs.
It's smaller, but it also is closer to the radar.
Right.
And so now this thing is right over Highway 10, Taylor Loop Road, and Cantrell. Cantrell and Taylor Loop Road right there. That is where this circulation is. So this is actually going to be taking it on a path up towards the southern side of Maumelle and Crystal Hill. If you're in any of those locations, of course, the 430 River Bridge is right here. You've got Two Rivers Park right here. On the other side of Maumelle, you've got Maumelle Boulevard right there. There's Odom Boulevard right there. Odom, I think this is going to stay to the south of you, so for all of you that are right there. But if you live at the Country Club on either side of Maumelle Boulevard, make sure you're in your tornado safe place. And then as the boulevard runs up to I-430 there in Crystal Hill Road, all those locations, you got to be in a safe place right now. The area of rotation starting to tighten up a little bit, and it is extremely concerning to us.
Storyteller looking westbound down Cantrell Road.
Okay, let's take Storyteller. That's
430 and Cantrell Road.
That's 430 and Cantrell looking towards the west.
Right side of the street.
So I'm starting to see some flashes. I don't know if that's lightning. Sure hope that it is. All right, Brett Adair has a pretty good view. So I'm going to take his feed real quick. He's looking west down Rodney Parham. And I'm going to continue calling out locations, Kamek Village. Make sure you're in your tornado safe spots. We're going to continue to look on all of our available feeds, cameras that we have. All right, through the lightning, you can see the base of the storm. I think what we're probably looking for is over here in this region. Actually, you can see the Chenal Towers, I think, right here. So we're just going to watch this. And it is going to be great news if we don't have anything drop. That'd be great.
Starting to look a little bit messy on the radar, too, which is something National Weather Service had mentioned earlier. As this storm does move into a messier environment, it's going to be much harder to be able to figure out where the center of the circulation is, except using the velocity data. So right now, we're looking at this here on the radar with our Doppler network, and the center of circulation, as mentioned by James, looked to be a little bit south of Maumelle, closer to Pankey here. You can kind of see that that little bit of a red spot just north of Ratting Road and south of Pinnacle Valley Road. So that's kind of what we've been looking at right now. It doesn't look terribly impressive, but a tornado is a tornado, and they're just as dangerous no matter what size they are. So you have to just assume that this is going to be a life-threatening situation, and make sure you practice your tornado safety precautions.
All right, I'm getting some reports from chasers. And I'm getting some videos that they are. They saw power flashes up toward Maumelle, but that could have been from a lightning strike. So we're continuing to track this, and Brett Adair has his camera pointed west. That's what we're looking at right now. We're tracking it also on radar, the storm that we are most concerned with and that has been giving us fits since Garland County. It's hopefully done putting down tornadoes, but we still have an area of rotation very close to Highway 10, and this is on the other side of 430. Of course, the Pleasant Ridge Town Center is right here, so this is coming up on that. At least right now, we have no indication that the tornado has been down over West Little Rock. We would know it by this point, but that can change in just an instant. So,
hey, James,
yes.
There's another thing, too, to consider. Look how the echoes are showing up on velocity here to the north of Little Rock and how they're bending more toward the radar site. That looks to be an outflow boundary, and a strong one that hopefully could undercut this storm.
Yeah, that would be good. Anything for us to get rid of this.
I mean, that's an impressive outflow right there to our north. I mean, there are some very strong inflow signatures with the wind.
So I'm still using, I'm very surprised that we haven't had a tornado down based on some of the radar signatures we've had. I'm going to get Brett Adair on the phone. If I have a producer step in here, I'll get you the phone number to give him a call. Let's get him on the phone. He's sitting west at Highway, or I think he's at Rodney Parham. Still getting quite a few pictures and videos. We're going to get Brett on the phone for us. Yeah, here, I'll just do it over. The mic will pick it up. Storm Chaser Brett Adair is who we're calling, and he's got a view of this thing off towards the northwest.
Hello.
Hello, Brett. This is James Bryant with Channel 7. You are live on the air.
Hey, James, we were looking at this supercell thunderstorm coming into northwest Little Rock here off of 430 and Rodney Parham. Did not see a tornado on the ground. Definitely a mean storm, lots of lightning. It looks like now it is going to the north of our location. I believe it has crossed 10 now and is really moving right toward the radar site. Chemic Village, Sherwood, and we're going to pursue. We're going to get back on 430 and then get on 40 and likely jump on Highway 67 as this storm continues to move toward the east and northeast.
So, Brett, you've been following these storms for a while. You were in western Arkansas. You came back down to Little Rock. I've been telling people no two storms are the same. You know, this is not the same as March 31st, but it's still a dangerous situation. And thankfully, it doesn't look like we've had a tornado yet, but still could be dangerous for some people in northern Pulaski County.
Well, absolutely. You saw how quickly we dealt with Hot Springs Village getting hit by the tornado from this same storm, mind you, just a little while ago. So it doesn't take long for these to spin up. We've got a volatile environment. The atmosphere is primed. As you walk outside, you can feel just how moist it is in the environment. These things can spin up rather quickly. We're going to continue likely to have some more warnings tonight. And as you said, no storm is the same. So if you go under a warning, just heed that warning. This definitely, we're beyond daytime now. I've dealt with a lot of large hail today, too. So up to baseball size across western Arkansas from some of these storms. So there are more dangers than just the tornado to deal with. But if you go under a warning tonight, make sure to seek shelter immediately because these storms are not messing around. And
Brett, give me your current location. We've got your feet up. It looks like you're at Shackleford, and what was that street right there?
Yes, we're jumping on 430 right off of North Rodney Parham right now. We're about to jump on 430 to the north, and we're going to get back on 40 and get ahead of the storm.
Okay, I'm going to stay with you for another minute or so as you get on 430 here in just a moment. Looks like you'll have a view of this thing to your north. I'm going to leave your feed for just a second, and we're going to watch. We're going to watch your feed as you get on 430. It is our hope. It looks like the storm at times has made attempts to put down a tornado. At the current time, the Weather Service is saying in 13 minutes they're going to replace this tornado warning with a severe thunderstorm warning if they don't see an uptick in rotation. But I still think given the presentation of this storm and how quickly the one in Hot Springs Village spun up, it's possible this thing could produce here over the next 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. You've got got to take them seriously regardless, because as we know, severe thunderstorms can and sometimes do produce tornadoes as well. So even if you're under a thunderstorm warning, this is a very dangerous storm. We've seen not only lots of hail. If you're in the core of this and you're driving, it's best to pull off, because the rainfall rates are extremely heavy with the moist environment that we have in place too. So areas from Mayflower down through Maumelle right now on that I-40 corridor, you might want to take a break, take it easy, and let this storm pass before you continue on your travels and Drum Highway.
So looking up, up above just the lowest scan at the lowest level at the National Weather Service Little Rock radar, which is just very, very close. I still think that this entire storm is rotating, and I just think it's going to be an issue here until it runs into something that really cools it off and begins to shut it down. Brett, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to your feed. Appreciate you being here and chasing.
Yes, sir, not a problem.
All right, that was Brett Adair with Live Storms Media. He's our partner, and we are watching his feed. I'm going to go back to his feed real quick as he comes to now getting back on 430 northbound. And I just got another report handed to me. There's no damage reports in Saline County, so that's good. What you're watching right now is Brett Adair's feed as he gets back on 430 north. He's going to have a view of the storm as he comes across the 430 River Bridge, which he will do here in just a moment. I'll come back to his feed as he crosses the bridge. I want to show you, though, as we are tracking this storm. This is now almost entirely in northern Pulaski County. It's gone to the west of downtown. It's going north of North Little Rock. It's kind of jogged a little bit towards the north, and that is certainly a good sign. Usually these things are more likely to produce when they move to the right.
Hey, James, check out how much the heavy rain is expanding off to the northeast of this storm. I do believe that is because of outflow boundaries that are coming in to try and cut off this storm from its surface circulation.
Yeah, that would be excellent. So we're back on Brett Adair's feed here, and he's about to cross the 430 River Bridge. So this is Cantrell Road right here. He's going northbound on 430, and at least for a moment we'll be able to see the base of the storm in the distance as he crosses the bridge, and you could see the base of the storm right there. Not really. It's just hard to see tornadoes at night in this state.
If you notice too, you notice how there's little areas where it looks like there's tiny clouds that drop. That's what we call scud.
Yeah, you really have to see it rotate to know that it's actually a funnel or actually a tornado. It's got to have some violent motion to it.
A lot of times that's just some rising air that helps to feed the storm.
Yes, that is very true.
Scud is short for scary. Well, we call the scary-looking clouds, but scud basically is kind of our nickname for what can be sometimes misconstrued as a tornado.
So he's coming down 430 where it drops after you get on at Cantrell Road, and now he is looking
they expired
towards
the tornado warning.
Okay, so he's looking towards the north, and we're going to stay with this for just a little bit longer, make sure that there is truly no tornado threat. We've got Brett Adair's feed looking north on 430 directly at the base of the storm. We don't see power flashes. That's good news. He's about to run into some really heavy rain, and he's about to kind of run into the base of the storm. And you just heard Matt say it. The tornado warning has expired for northern Pulaski County. I hope we don't see it extended.
The National Weather Service says that the storm which prompted the warning is weakened below severe limits, no longer looks capable of producing a tornado. And by severe limits, they mean in terms of tornadic severe, not in terms of overall severe.
So they've let the tornado warning go. So he's looking towards the north. I thought for a moment there in West Little Rock, I think we got very close to having a tornado, and I'm very thankful that we did not.
And I believe the outflow here coming in from the north that's causing all that very heavy stratiform rain, that's what's really helping to cut this thing off and really save our behinds on this.
So it is 9:37 p.m. I would like to find out if we have Brenda live in Hot Springs Village. Not yet. We don't have her there yet. Okay, so we're looking to have her for the 10 o'clock newscast. All right, just looking at the storm that's moving through Pulaski County. There are other storms going on. It's going to be a stormy night. Right now, there are no tornado warnings in effect. They've let the tornado warning over northern Pulaski County expire. What we're probably seeing in Maumelle right now is quite a bit of hail up towards the north of I-40, and the area of rotation that we have been tracking for a long time seems to have weakened, and that is certainly a great sign. But at the same time, I want us to be paying attention and be very weary of this storm, because I think it could recycle and try to put down another tornado. Yeah. So right near Camp Robinson, it looks like we do have a little bit of rotation occurring. It looks like that has just recently developed here in the last couple of minutes. So that's looking at Brett Adair's feed. He is going through some very heavy rain on I-40. So just in the last couple of minutes, we've seen this start to rotate here. We're going to watch this as it moves off towards the northeast. Again, no tornado warning in effect right now, and that is the best case scenario. This storm is about to move through far northern Pulaski County and eventually up towards the northeast. And Matt, if you're correct and we have a boundary approaching from the north, it will end the tornado threat for this storm tonight. And
yeah, it's going to undercut it. It's
great.
Basically the same way as a cold front can undercut these things, because if you can cut off that supply of warm, moist air to one of these storms, that really helps to just destroy any sense of surface circulation. Now, outflow from storms to the north is not the same as a cold front, but in this case, considering that the sun has already set, now we're past dark, there's not really much of a chance of that atmosphere recovering from all that rain-cooled air coming in from the storms out of the north. And you can kind of see how this spreads out a bit. See how all of that red, those heavy rain signatures start to expand? That shows that the air is being forced upward by something, and in this case, I do believe that is because of the outflow from storms to the north. And that's turning this, as we mentioned before, it's starting that transition into more of a flash flooding heavy rain event overnight rather than a tornado threat. Now, there is still that tornado threat. We still have tornado watches in effect until midnight for a good chunk of the state, but we do expect at a certain point for the tornado threat to diminish, and this is one of the indicators of why it has diminished greatly across the northern half of the state. It's because of all that storm activity, all fighting for resources at the exact same time, and that can cause that to happen.
All right, I'm going through KATV.com/chime in. We've had a number of pictures and videos submitted. We'll be going through those to show them. Now that the tornado threat is a little bit less, we can work on hopefully showing you what has happened. There's been quite a bit of hail. I've gotten lots of hail video from across the state, and hopefully, I'm very hopeful that the tornado damage that we saw in Hot Springs Village is minimal, but I've gotten a few reports of there being some significant damage, and now I'm getting reports of dime-size hail in Sherwood. That's this little cell off towards the southeast of North Little Rock and Sherwood. So the storm that's in northern Pulaski County, there's no tornado warning in effect for that right now. This storm, it's still very impressive. It's still likely producing hail from Maumelle over towards Camp Robinson, and it's still moving off towards the northeast, but it's starting to become impacted by storms that are off towards the north and off towards the west, and that is exactly what we wanted to see. And I think we got very, very lucky in West Little Rock with that storm tracking over and not producing a tornado. I think we got very, very lucky, and I hope our luck continues.
There's also a hail core signature showing up pretty prominently just north of Hot Springs Village.
Yeah, so it looks like for first responders that are working back in that north of Hot Springs Village, there's more hail. Doesn't look like there's a ton of rotation with that system, that storm that's out there.
That wind is going straight into each other, so that looks like pure convergence rather than an actual rotation.
Oh man, I'm getting more pictures of trees and power lines down in Hot Springs Village, and I'll be showing those coming up here at 10. So we're still just kind of sticking with the storm that we are that's tracking through northern Pulaski County right now, not under a tornado warning. Let's go back to Brett Adair's feed. He is looking towards the north. He's still on the freeway. He's tracking this storm as it moves through North Pulaski County. And, he texted me but just a few minutes ago saying the storm mergers, basically storms merging with the storm that could have produced tornadoes, really saved some of us tonight. And that is certainly some good news, because it's surprising to me scientifically that the storm that just moved through West Little Rock did not produce a tornado. Great news, though. That's fantastic. I'm glad that it did not. So he's out there on the freeway. It looks like he is, almost looks like this is the Scenic Hill in North Little Rock. I think he's on I-40. It turned around going the other direction. So we'll continue to keep up with his feed. While he's continuing to work his way off towards the east, we'll go back to radar. The storm itself still very impressive on radar. Still looks very good. Some very strong winds up there and hail towards the north side of this storm. Definitely, even though it's not a tornado threat, it's definitely something you don't want to be outside in. We'll continue to watch this storm. We've kind of lost track of all the other activity around the state over the last couple of hours, but it's just been a lot of rain and thunderstorms. There's been a few severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued as well. And now we said about 9 to 10 o'clock, it was all just going to form into one giant mess, and it has. It's just a line of storms. I think the flash flood threat's going to increase as these storms move from west to east, and hopefully the tornado threat is just about completely done. But we're going to watch a few of these storms on the southern end of this line. There's, I think, a good chance that we're going to have to watch this storm for at least a few more minutes. Looking at the Weather Service, they're currently not concerned about the storm that they let the tornado warning expire for. Looking at a couple of different probability tools on my laptop over here, I do think we probably need to watch the storm in northern Pulaski County just for a few more minutes. So normally we'd go back to regular programming, but what we're going to do is I think here in about 10 minutes we'll take a short break. And then we will go to a quick commercial break, and we'll come back for the 10 p.m. news. So I think we're just going to take this into our 10 o'clock newscast. We're going to have a report coming up from Hot Springs Village that was hit by a tornado earlier. I'm working on bringing you some of the footage that was just sent to me from Hot Springs Village. And I'm getting some pictures from Hot Springs Village of trees and power lines down, really hoping that none of that was structural damage. If you have safely taken pictures of severe weather, you can send it to KATV.com/chime-in, or you can send it to my Facebook page. The inbox is open. My meteorologist James Bryant Facebook page. It does look like some very strong winds are occurring at the ground level north of the North Little Rock Airport. That's where the radar is, north of the North Little Rock Airport, and probably some hail as well, dealing with both the hail and high winds north of the North Little Rock Airport. So Maumelle over towards Camp Robinson, and just north of the NLR Airport up through Gravel Ridge, and then up off West Republican Road in the far northern part of North Pulaski County towards Gibson. All of this area is dealing with a severe storm. Thankfully, at the moment, not dealing with a tornadic storm. Still, it still has very nice radar presentation. It's got the hook echo there, and so until the threat is completely diminished, we're going to keep watching this storm. I'm getting a report from somebody in Hot Springs Village. Trees down in the village. Looks like a war zone. Trees are on houses, but there has been no news of injuries. So that is great news. No news of injuries. I'm going to work on getting this video to air. And Matt,
Yeah.
let's do a quick overview of what's happening around the state as we continue to watch northern Pulaski County. But there's a lot of people dealing with thunderstorms right now.
There's also a lot of flood warnings starting to come out here from the National Weather Service, too. Yeah, and a lot of this heavy rain really is starting to take a toll here because it just doesn't want to stop. And this is kind of what we've been talking about, that this event would eventually transition from a tornado threat to more of a flash flooding threat. And that's going to be the case here overnight. We've got a lot of this activity yet still to come because the cold front itself is actually still to our north and west. It's still in Oklahoma. As far as what I can tell, I don't think that cold front has entered Arkansas yet. So as long as that cold front is still out to our north and west, that means that we are still dealing with the potential for some heavy rain and thunderstorms throughout the night, and that's going to lead to some very high rainfall totals. In fact, some of the latest projections here are showing upwards of another, inch to possibly 2 or 3 inches here. This is on top of what we've already had. So it's definitely possible that we end up with quite a bit of flooding threats out there. That could be the most widespread threat from these storms. Now that we're seeing fewer and fewer severe thunderstorm warnings being issued from this system. So with the main cold front still off to our north and west, we have a lot of heavy rain yet to come through. The main outflow, though, all these storms are right on the edge of wind gusts from storms earlier today that were off to our north. And as that continues to push southward, it should help to undercut a lot of the tornado potential with any of these storms that have managed to move across the area here. So you got Hot Springs Village as well as Little Rock. Just north of that area, we have a lot of this heavy rain here coming down. And while the tornado threat is diminishing, the hail threat can still ruin your day. And that's what we're going to be tracking here, I think, for much of the rest of this evening through the 10 o'clock, and then also the wind threat after that really starting to kind of tamper down a little bit. It's going to be more of a flash flooding threat as we head forward. In fact, I'm starting to see what looks like a little bit of outflow boundary activity here south of Hot Springs Village. That will also help to undercut any kind of...
Hey, we're getting a new tornado warning, and this is going to be for Montgomery County.
Oh, that's the storm we were watching. Yeah.
And I think we've still got a problem in Pulaski County as well. I think this storm is still presenting a problem with some rotation that I'm looking at above the ground level. Matt, go ahead and take a look at that storm that's back out in the northwest.
Oh, it's right near Pencil Bluff yet again.
Yeah, it is once again out there.
They just can't catch a break here tonight. Yeah, that is brutal. All right, so let's take a look at this here. That's a pretty tight circulation. Yeah, I think that's a good call they made, issuing a tornado warning for that one. So that one is in Montgomery here. It's a little bit southwest of Pencil Bluff. So you guys are getting kind of a repeat scenario. Now, hopefully some of this outflow to the north can undercut it, but it's going to take a while because there's still quite a bit of pretty solid inflow here to the south. And without a lot of competition south of that storm, there is unabated warm, moist air flowing into it out of the south. And that's going to continue as it tries to push. And it looks like it may try to thread the needle between Pencil Bluff and Mount Ida as we head through this evening, and then possibly head over toward Ouachita instead. But it's hard to tell based on the circulation center here and just how long this thing is going to stay in its current strength. The one thing I'm not seeing too much of with that storm is a hail threat like we were seeing with the storm that was around Hot Springs Village and another one that was over toward Maumelle. So that is at least some bit of good news, but unfortunately a tornado warning kind of trumps that when it comes to any kind of severe threat. So this is what we're looking at right now over toward just southwest of Pencil Bluff. You can see a pretty solid hook echo in this area. That is a clear sign that the storm is rotating near the surface. Plus, when we look at this on velocity data, I'm going to start saving these images here. Once we look at this on velocity data, there is a very pronounced and bright couplet showing up with some very strong inflow and outflow signatures that are with this system. So yeah, that is a pronounced tornadic signature and a couplet that I would say is definitely on the ground as of right now.
All right, so we've got another tornado threat. That's the same area that could have been dealing with the tornado threat earlier. We're going to watch the Pulaski County storm very closely. I think it may be trying to rotate once again. Still a couple of storms out there worth watching, and Matt just gave you a real good rundown on the storm that's out there in western Arkansas. It's not picking up debris, at least at this point, but that's still this storm a little bit further south of the storm we were dealing with earlier out in Montgomery County. The storm that's in Pulaski County still is a little bit concerning. Still's got a hook echo on it. Very strong winds are happening north of the airport, and I think there's still some small hail falling. Got a report of half-inch hail falling in Sherwood, on the north side of Sherwood. Of course, a lot of lightning falling from this as well. I'm working on pulling up some videos from Hot Springs Village from Chaser, Andrew McMahon, who is chasing tonight, and he's got a couple of really good pictures from the Hot Springs Village area. It looks like a metal building was damaged. We got trees and power lines down. Again, we're hoping that the damage is not as bad, or at least it's certainly not bad to houses and people's homes. The storm north of Little Rock still bears watching, at least for the moment, but the most serious situation in the state as far as tornadoes are concerned is out to the west of Mount Ida. We still have a strong area of rotation, a very strong couplet there that's just to the south of Odin. So the Weather Service has opted to issue a tornado warning, and they're going to issue that until 10:30. So in theory, this could take us through our 10 p.m. broadcast, but that's what we're watching. It's just to the south of Pencil Bluff, and we talked to a couple of spots there earlier. Of course, there's the RV Park and Dollar General there right at the intersection of 270 and 88. This looks like it's going to stay just to the south of that, but it is going to be moving off towards the east and the east-northeast. Hopefully, it's going to do what the storm over West Little Rock just did and not put down a tornado. That's what we want. The storms rotate. We do not want them to produce tornadoes tonight, and certainly don't want them to affect any of you. I'm still keeping an eye on the storm that's in the Little Rock area. I'm just keeping a very close eye on it just to make sure. So I'm not forgetting about you if you're dealing with that storm on the north side of Pulaski County. There's a look at the radar. Another pretty classic hook echo right there, and there's the area of strongest rotation, so that is what we're watching there. It's going to approach US 270 here shortly. Montgomery County is beautiful. I would never want to storm chase in Montgomery County due to the terrain and the trees. It's a tough place to see a tornado, even tougher at night. So make sure that you're in your tornado safe place if you're in central Montgomery County. And even if you're in Mount Ida, I would be in my tornado safe place. Sometimes it does happen. The storms can actually turn. They do not move in straight lines. So make sure that even if you're up there in Mount Ida, you should have gotten the alert on your phone. Go ahead and head to your tornado safe place. The storm is moving, it looks like, off towards the east-northeast, and with pretty classic radar presentation as far as tornadoes are concerned, and it may actually begin to turn a little bit to the east. So Mount Ida, up Arkansas Highway 27, make sure you're in your tornado safe spot. This is in Montgomery County. This is west of Lake Ouachita. This storm, I think, eventually will get to the western section of Lake Ouachita, but this is west of Lake Ouachita. We've tracked a couple of tornado-warned storms already through Montgomery County tonight. I have heard no reports of damage just yet, and that's good news. We don't want to hear any reports of damage, but this is the most significant storm so far. Looks like we're getting more and more video of hail from around the state, and there's been so much. Remember, if you have video that you want to send in, you can send it to katv.com/chime in.
There's an important update, though. The National Weather Service did cancel the severe thunderstorm warning for Garland, Perry, and Saline. So it looks like that storm has lost a lot of its potential threat.
Okay, that's good news. All right, if let's stay with Matt for a second. I'm going to get a video pulled up here.
Yeah.
Matt, you stay with the tornado warned storm there that's in Montgomery County. I'm going to get a video pulled up.
Yeah, this is south of Pencil Bluff, and the circulation is a little bit broad now. It's more broad than it was earlier. In fact, I'll take you hour by hour through that. You notice how we had earlier that bright couplet with the reds and the greens right next to each other. That was 948. All right, that's what prompted the warning. Now look at how it's diminished. Now this could be just cycling downward a little bit before it goes right back up again. So it's something that we're going to have to just kind of keep an eye on. But that is south of Pencil Bluff. And I would put the old signature there just to the east of Hogjaw, closer to, we'll say Hogjaw Road, maybe a little bit east of Hogjaw Road, and approaching 270. And unfortunately, I know you guys have already had this kind of stuff happening here for you. But National Weather Service did also do an update on this tornado warning. They have it located near Malden, or 2 miles northwest of Mount Ida, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. So they've got it clocked at 40 miles an hour in terms of movement there. And again, it can be hard to tell just based on radar, but that's coming in from the National Weather Service as this makes a move off to the east-northeast. Were you able to get that video there?
Yeah, I'm
James?
still working on it. It's going to be
Okay.
a still image out of Hot Springs Village showing a metal building that's been ripped off its foundation.
Gotcha. Yeah, and what we're not seeing a whole lot with this one, too, though, is hail signatures. So this looks like it may end up being a very shallow circulation right near the ground, as opposed to one that's being fed from above. And that lowers at least one threat, but of course, as I mentioned earlier, the tornado threat trumps anything else that you're going to be dealing with. So what we look for, as I mentioned, is the bright green and bright red right next to each other. That couplet is looking a little bit broader at this point, but that could be the storm just cycling on itself a little bit. Now, what prompted the National Weather Service to go ahead and cancel the warning that was near Hot Springs Village was the fact that it really was just a hail threat, and that has dropped off significantly. We're also seeing a drop off of the hail threat for the storm that's north of Little Rock, but because of the fact that this storm is so close to the radar site, it can be very difficult to be able to tell where a center of circulation is, or if there is a circulation center with that particular storm. So that's what makes it very hard whenever you get these things close to the site. Notice something, though. I'm going to go ahead and draw on this. You see this little line here? This is called an outflow boundary, all right? That undercuts a lot of the potential here for any of these storms to develop circulation. That's why we ended up having that tornado warning canceled here for Little Rock. Unfortunately, that line, it doesn't exist here with the storm that's near Mount Ida, at least not yet from what I've seen. Now, it could end up pushing through and cutting that off. That could cause the warning to cancel early, but that'll be up to the National Weather Service to decide this point. I would say at this point, you still have to assume this tornado-warned storm is capable of producing a tornado at any time, even if it doesn't have one down at the ground right now, and is heading, I would say, on a beeline path toward Ouachita at this current moment. The National Weather Service clocks it at 40 miles per hour heading to the north and east. I would say it's more of an east-northeast track personally because it's kind of a right mover, and the right movers are what we look for when it comes to any kind of storms that are very well organized and can put out a lot of heavy rain, lightning, thunder, and also some wind gusts, hail, and even a tornado.
All right, Matt, I've got a couple of pictures I want to show. These are from Andrew McMahon. This is going to be in Hot Springs Village. This was earlier, and this is the scene he came up to. It looks like this was a metal framed building, and you see there's the foundation, and it's just wiped away. Metal buildings usually do not fare well during tornadoes. This is just one part near Hot Springs Village, so there's that, and then coming up, he came up to quite a few downed power lines as well. It looks like the metal building was over here back behind that, and then you can see the large emergency response there in the distance. But we downed power lines, lots of downed trees we're getting reports of, and unfortunately, lives being impacted by tornadoes, or a tornado that moved through a very populated spot in the state tonight in Hot Springs Village. So
something too of note, though, with these power lines is that they're built to detach themselves, from the pole so that they don't bring down the entire power pole. So the fact that the entire power pole is down just shows the fact that this was a very strong and tornadic wind that was coming through this city.
So we're getting the latest from Little Rock Police is that we are getting reports of no damage in Little Rock. So that's good news. No damage in Little Rock. I'm telling you, we got very lucky tonight that there was not a tornado in Little Rock. It's been a different story out in Hot Springs Village. So I'm reading a report. It looks like they're staging search and rescue teams to head into Hot Springs Village, and that was sent to me by a first responder. So they are a search and rescue operation. Looks like it is underway in Hot Springs Village. It continues, and our Brenda Lipinski is going to be on the ground there. Should be pretty shortly. As she left about an hour ago, I'm sure the locations are going to be tough to get to. We still have a tornado warning in the state, but as things have evolved, we've gotten all clear for North Arkansas. We've now got this line of storms that's beginning to slowly sag towards the south. A couple of severe storms are along this boundary, and as Matt said it earlier, once the boundary crashes through those storms, the tornado threat is over. So I do feel like the tornado risk is about to end as long as we don't get anything developing out in the open warm sector. There is that tornado-warned storm that we have out in Montgomery County is the last thing we're watching before we'll start our 10 o'clock news. And it's a pretty impressive velocity signature from Little Rock and from the Fort Smith radars. So that has just crossed over US 270. And if we look at debris detector, it may just be too far away from the radar to detect anything, but that's a good sign that we have.
It's moving into a cluttered environment, too, though. That's going to choke it off.
Yeah, I hope so. Matt's point is that this thing is moving up towards an area that's been rain-cooled. And it's not moving southeast, it's moving almost due northeast. So hopefully that is going to end the threat on this here very soon. At least for the moment, the circulation is maintaining itself, moving east-northeast towards Washita. Please be in your tornado safe spot. Looks like Brett Adair is coming through North Little Rock. I'm still watching his feed, so he's south of the storm, the big storm that's in Pulaski County. And I would bet he may be headed to the damage in Hot Springs Village.
He's a trooper.
Yes, he is. He's a great at what he does. He's a good storm chaser. Does it very safe.
I think the outflow boundary right now, I would have to peg that thing is right on the cusp of that tornadic signature, of that circulation. I think it's right there. You can kind of see how that stratiform rain is starting to form north of Washita and right over top of Lake Washita, as well as over toward Mountain Pine and Fountain Lake. Every shower and storm needs it needs moisture, it needs instability, it needs a trigger. And the trigger in this case would be that outflow boundary that's coming through. And as it triggers more and more activity, it's going to clutter up this thing and hopefully rob it of its resources so that it can't really produce anything near the ground anymore. Still looking at a pretty good signature there toward the ground, but I'm not seeing a tight couplet at this point. It looks broad. That could just be the fact that the boundary hasn't hit it yet and started to knock this thing back down to the ground. We haven't seen too much in the way of hail from this storm, but there is a little bit of a hail signature showing up just in the northwest due west of Pencil Bluff. And I think that's also due to the fact that this outflow boundary is coming in. It's helping to trigger new updrafts. It's helping to create some hail signatures there as well. We'll see that hail threat probably last through a good chunk of the night, along with the flash flooding threat once the tornado threat begins to die down. But as of right now, that tornado signature, that circulation signature is still there with that particular storm.
But looking regionally at the storms, we are continuing to probably start to deal with the flash flood threat. And Matt, you went over the flash flooding threat a little bit earlier, but I'd imagine we're probably going to see some flash flood warnings soon for Pulaski County. These slow-moving thunderstorms up here probably are going to drop an inch or two of rain in a really short period of time. We've got one severe thunderstorm warning for northern Pulaski County, one tornado warning out in Montgomery County with that area that it's going to weaken eventually. But if you're in the vicinity of that circulation, make sure you're seeking shelter, at least for the moment. This area of rain, we haven't talked about it in a while, dealing with all the storms that have been actively ongoing. But this area of rain is going to be moving off towards the south and towards the southeast. And eventually what's going to happen is this just becomes one big area of rain that gets into South Arkansas. The severe threat's going to be much lower. Can't rule out a severe storm or two, but the severe threat will be much lower. And when I say severe storm, I mean a high wind gust. And we'll be dealing with lingering rain into early tomorrow. Other than that, I think the severe threat is going to at least begin to wane. Here's another view of Brett Adair. He's coming through North Little Rock. He's at JFK and McCain. See the heavy rain coming down there. I think he hit some hail earlier back when he was further towards the north. And he's working his way now towards the south. So that's the view from North Little Rock. You see the heavy rain falling there. This is the view from Chenal Mountain. Heavy rain again falling out there. And as we look once again at our regional radar picture.
Hey, James,
yeah,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
The National Weather Service just expired this severe thunderstorm warning for Faulkner, Lone Oak, Pulaski, and White.
Okay, so
That's
this severe
us.
thunderstorm warning you see there is about to expire. And now it's just a regular old thunderstorm. Well, the reports of hail that we have been getting have been pretty small. So that is certainly some great news. So the last place for us to focus in on is up in Montgomery County. And at least for the moment, we have a broad circulation. This is east of Arkansas 298 approaching Arkansas Highway 88. And I'm hopeful that this is well above the ground with the tornado not being down and that here soon this tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire and or will be canceled. Matt, the flooding threat appears to be rising.
Yeah, we have the flash flood warnings here across many parts of the area. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through those. We have them across here, basically Bluffton as well as Briggsville. You guys are dealing with flash flooding threats. We have Paris and Clarksville, Boonville, Lamar dealing with flash flooding, and then also the Fort Smith area off to our north and west. It's a little bit outside of our viewing area, but nonetheless still dealing with that flash flooding threat. Otherwise, that's it for flash flood warnings currently, because most of that area has already been pretty rain-soaked from earlier thunderstorms. And so now we're just seeing a lot of this heavy stratiform rain, is what it's called, just kind of drenching already rain-soaked ground. And when that happens, it makes for very easy runoff. That's what leads to the flash flooding potential, is that runoff over rain-soaked ground. So once again, over that one storm that did show some promising circulation there and it prompted the tornado warning, it looks like it is weakening. And I think it's being undercut here by some of that wind coming in out of the north now, which looks to have already pushed through Pencil Bluff here currently, which will put it right underneath that area of circulation.
All right, it looks like the circulation is even a bit more broad than it was just a few minutes ago. Looking at the radar loop there that you had, certainly we expect this to continue. The tornado warning remains in effect until 10:30. Along Arkansas Highway 27, get in your tornado safe place. Very broad. Hopefully, we're seeing the beginning of the end to the tornado threat tonight, and we'll bring you a live picture. Hey, if Brenda is, or if we have a camera up in Hot Springs Village, just let me know and we can take that feed if at any point that becomes available. But for now, we'll stick with radar and we'll look at the area of rain, the large area of rain that continues to work its way south through most of the state. In case you missed it earlier, if you're joining us for our 10 p.m. newscast, Hot Springs Village sustained damage from a tornado.
Okay,
these pictures are off of Highway 7. There's a picture of a metal building that was destroyed.
I got an update for you, James. They issued a severe thunderstorm warning for that tornado-warned storm rather than a new tornado warning, which is a good sign.
So with the expectation that this tornado warning may eventually be expiring here, we'll be going into a condensed version, I think, of our 10 p.m. newscast here, probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, just to let our crews know kind of what the plan is here. Back to the pictures from Hot Springs Village. If you were just joining us, this is not in Hot Springs Village, the picture that I have on screen here, but this is right off Highway 7 west of Hot Springs Village. There's a metal building that was completely destroyed. The tornado then went into Hot Springs Village, and at this same location, we had power lines down, and there is a large emergency response underway in Hot Springs Village right now. And I've heard no reports of injuries or deaths, and that is great news because we certainly have some tornado damage, and we had the tornado go through there earlier. And that same storm came through Little Rock, and at times looked like it would produce a tornado. Thankfully, it did not. Little Rock police reporting no damage in the city of Little Rock.
They just canceled it.
All right, so while we kind of wrap up our coverage of what the weather has been doing, our news department has been getting a report from Hot Springs Village. We have Brenda Lipinski, who is headed to that scene. I think we'll have a report here before the end of the 10:30 broadcast. But we are, Caden or whoever's in the booth, well, let me know if you want to take a short break and come back for the 10 p.m. newscast. Okay, so we have no tornado warnings in the state right now. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take a short, quick break, catch our breath, and we'll come back with the news. We'll have more weather for you, of course, covering the tornado that occurred tonight and the weather that's out there right now. So we'll be right back.
from the station that's on your side. This is Channel 7 News at 10.
Well, a good Thursday evening to you. If you have been watching tonight, you know by now it has been a night of severe weather in Arkansas with a confirmed tornado on the ground in Garland County. Some damage being done to Hot Springs Village there. We hope you have been safe tonight. Of course, the Channel 7 Weather Team has been on the air throughout prime time, and meteorologist James Bryant joins us now with the very latest on what's going on in Arkansas skies. James.
Well, Chris, I think West Little Rock got very lucky avoiding a tornado. It stayed above the ground. We did have that tornado in Hot Springs Village, and I think that's the only tornado that the state has seen tonight. We still have a tornado watch in effect, but the severe threat really is beginning to ramp down. Still have that severe thunderstorm warning in western Arkansas and a new flash flood warning that includes all of the metro area all the way back to Polk County, kind of that corridor out west, where we have storms that really are slow moving and are going to dump quite a bit of rain across the area here over the next couple of hours. We've still got storms, and they still could be producing small hail, especially that storm in northern Montgomery County. But as you look towards Pulaski County, it's really just become a giant mess. So this is not organized types of weather that produces tornadoes. Maybe you could have an isolated damaging wind gust, but this is much better sleeping weather. We can all begin to rest easy with the end of the tornado threat. Pulaski County now almost completely covered up in heavy rain, and that flash flood warning is in effect for basically the northern half of the county. More storms will be moving out of Oklahoma into western Arkansas very soon, but I think the severe risk really is beginning to wind down. There's the view from Chenal Mountain. It's raining quite a bit. Brett Adair sitting in North Little Rock, raining there as well. The rain overnight, it continues to move further south. It may hang on into early tomorrow morning. Isolated severe weather possible tonight in the form of a damaging wind gust, but we're pretty much done with that tornado threat. Chris?
The news that we have wanted to hear tonight, James. Thanks so much. Well, as always, you have been our eyes and ears outside during this stormy weather tonight. Let's take a look at some of the images that have come in through the KATV Chime In page. This one from Gabe Galster. Gabe captured what he believed to be a tornado in the distance there, about 5 miles south of Lake Washita and Brady Mountain. Our thanks to Gabe from that. Miles McKenzie sent in this look at an incredible storm cloud that took shape over where Miles was. This was from earlier in the evening before night fell in Arkansas. And one more we have now from Billy Butler. Take a look at this photo of some of the hail that fell tonight. You can see that golf ball there. Those hailstones twice the size of a golf ball, perhaps baseball size hail, that falling in North Hot Springs Village. And actually one more. This is from Doug Ernest showing a more large size hail, this too falling in Hot Springs Village, which again was hit hard by tonight's storm. This comes to us from Warren Road. This is video of quarter-sized hail falling in Warren's neighborhood, and you can hear it falling as well. Not good for homes, certainly not good for cars as well. We're keeping our eye on the threat of hail as the night unfolds. If you ever have any photos or videos of severe weather tonight or any other night, make sure to share them with us. And you can do that through the KATV Chime In feature. It is right there at the top of the KATV.com homepage, or you can just scan the QR code that is on your screen. That will take you there as well. And please never put yourself in danger to capture those images. Only do so if it is safe. Well, we do know tonight's storms caused power outages in several different parts of the state. According to poweroutage.com, the latest numbers have Arkansas at just about 8,500 outages. The majority of those are concentrated in Garland County, where about 3,300 homes are still in the dark right now. Those numbers have been dropping throughout the night. They peaked earlier at around 11,000 homes, but again, the latest numbers statewide, about 8,500 customers are without power. We are hoping to take you down to Hot Springs Village in a few minutes to see the latest there. Our Brenda Lipinski and our crew is on the scene. We will take you there live just as soon as that's available. Well, in other news tonight, the Natural State is set to receive more than $67 million in funding to reduce the risk of flooding. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will use those funds to improve the reliability and resiliency of several reservoirs and inland waterway navigation systems. They'll focus their work on the McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River Navigation System, the Blakely Mountain Dam on Lake Washita, and the Osceola Harbor. among others. Well, the Board of Trustees for the Arkansas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired and the Arkansas School for the Deaf took a step forward tonight in their search for a superintendent. Last month, of course, Governor Sanders announced a plan to build new facilities for both schools on the location of their current campus in Little Rock, but with some shared services, including a dining hall and a health care facility. It would also put both schools under the supervision of a single superintendent for the first time. A timeline for completing that project has not yet been laid out, but candidates for the superintendent position were interviewed during tonight's board meeting.
Well, the severe weather threat is beginning to wind down. We have some pictures to show you and a much better forecast for you after the break.
Testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2.
And welcome back to Channel 7's continuing coverage of severe weather in the state of Arkansas tonight. The storms really began in earnest here in central Arkansas earlier this evening with tornado warnings in Montgomery County and Garland County. And soon thereafter, a confirmed tornado did touch down in Hot Springs Village, home to about 15,000 Arkansans. Channel 7's Brenda Lipinski has made her way there tonight, and she joins us now live with the very latest. Brenda, what are you seeing there in Hot Springs Village?
Yes, Chris. So as you can see, it's starting to rain a little bit behind me. We were told to come here at Ponce de Leon Center
by the fire department. And actually, I just spoke to the Hot Spring Village general manager, and he said they're still trying to assess everything. It is still pretty dark. So far, though, he says there has been no injuries, thankfully. He says there's about 1,000 people without power, and he says that there are about 300 trees that are down. Of course, they're trying to mobilize. They've contacted 2 county judges, and they say they have support from them. They also say that the governor's office has also reached out to them. So again, they're still trying to assess everything, and as soon as we get more information, we will share that with you. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, Brenda Lipinski for us live in Hot Springs Village tonight. We did see pictures from there earlier of power poles that were down, also a steel shed that had been destroyed. There is some significant damage to be seen in Hot Springs Village. We hope to see more of it tomorrow when we rejoin you for Channel 7 News.
From the weather team with the most experience, this is Channel 7 meteorologist James Bryant.
Well, here are a couple of pictures from the Hot Springs Village area. This is off Highway 7. We had power lines down. This from Andrew McMahon. He was chasing, came in behind the storm and found the damaged path. On the other side of these power lines that were down, there was a metal building that was blown off the foundation, and it doesn't have to be a strong tornado for this to happen. The tornado then left Highway 7 and went off towards the east through Hot Springs Village, and the reports are, you just saw, downed many, many trees. Right now, the tornado watch remains in effect for central and southern Arkansas, but the tornado threat has rapidly diminished. We've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings right now in effect for northeast Pulaski, northern Lone Oak, and out into western Arkansas. This area of rain is really, it's just becoming, I described it earlier today, as one giant mess. That's what you want to see. The storms that gave us all that trouble were the isolated storms that came from about Mena up into the metro area. Those are the storms that produced a lot of the hail and the tornado we saw in Hot Springs Village. Also, note, a new flash flood warning has been issued from Mena up into the Little Rock metro areas. Very heavy thunderstorms are going. I'll show you rainfall totals in just a moment. The storms are slow moving north of Mount Ida, north of Hot Springs Village, and into Pulaski County. We're seeing very heavy rain, even some small hail, maybe even some large hail off towards the south of Cabot up to quarter size. But these storms generally over the course of the night are going to be dropping further and further off towards the southeast. There's some activity in southwest Arkansas that's also going to be filling in the gap across the southern part of the state. That area of heavy rain I was just telling you about, well, radar estimates are over 2, 3, maybe even 4 inches in part of northern Pulaski County, and this is before the rain has really dropped to the south. It's just been raining for several hours at these locations, so flash flooding is a concern across a lot of Perry County and into the northern section of Pulaski County. There's the view from Chenal Mountain. We had a view at least a second ago when I checked the camera feed, but it's still storming really good outside. And Brett Adair is out in North Little Rock, and over the course of the next few hours, the storms are generally going to be moving down into South Arkansas, but rain continues for a while. But the good news is the severe threat consistently drops every hour we go deeper into the night. We still could have some rain in the morning, but generally the rain is decreasing through tomorrow morning. Got a chance for some morning showers. We hang on to the cloud cover, and then the weather gets nice. We're sitting at 68 degrees as we get to the overnight hours. As an earlier graphic, we do get rid of that rain. Tonight's low temperature, 56 degrees. Tomorrow, it will be nicer. We'll see the high temperature reach 67, and there's the 7-day graphic I prepared long before the severe weather began. It's just going to be nicer. Chris, it's going to be quiet.
Well, let's hope so. I think this really played out as we expected it to.
Yeah.
And you guys did a great job. Meteorologist Matt Posguy on the air with you all night. We sure appreciate it all.
Appreciate it, and we'll have, daylight images coming from Hot Springs Village tomorrow.
Okay, James, thanks so much. We'll take one final break and be back with more after this. Okay, so the severe weather threat is lessening as we move through the night, but
Yeah.
it's not gone entirely, right?
It's lower, and we may see a high wind gust or two. Flash flooding becomes the main primary threat as those storms work towards the south. Download the KATV Weather app. Get those warnings sent to your phone. I don't expect there's going to be many, but could have some flash flood alerts tonight. The rain tapers off in the morning. It gets nicer over the next few days, and tomorrow we'll have daylight images and full report from Hot Springs Village.
Okay, James, thanks so much, and thank you for being with us tonight. That is Channel 7 News at 10. Your overnight news, weather, and sports is at KATV.com. Daybreak's on in the morning. Melinda Mayo will have the latest on the forecast starting at 4:30. Good night.